we're talking about. Built for comfort, built for speed as well. Check out GoTrosOutdoorPower.com for more information. GoTros, we make it easy. Football is back. Tune in Sunday for a full day of NFL coverage starting at noon with the Titans-Ravens, followed by Cowboys-Vikings at 3:25 and Chiefs-Raiders at 7:20. Then, Monday night, the Buccaneers host the Rams. The NFL lives on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Do you know someone who sets a good example for all of us to follow? Someone who shows leadership, selflessness, and service to their community without being asked? We think that's the definition of a good citizen, and so does Citizens Bank and Trust. If you know someone who exhibits all of these qualifications, nominate them for a Good Citizen Award, and they could receive $500 from Citizens Bank. And we'll recognize them here on the show. Get the details at citizensbankandtrust.com, and then nominate your good citizen.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
This is a house call. This is a follow-up appointment. This is a diabetes checkup. This isn't just more convenient care, it's more advanced care. This is innovating healthcare at Louisiana's #1 hospital, Ochsner.
ServiceMaster Elite create clean, disinfected work environments. As a local business, we take pride in serving the New Orleans and Baton Rouge areas. Our cleaning protocols follow CDC and OSHA standards for healthcare settings, offices, senior living, restaurants, and industrial plants. Contact ServiceMaster Elite to get your operation ready for reopening with germ disinfection cleaning. ServiceMaster Elite, the trusted choice in professional cleaning since 1996.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is a local bank with a straightforward philosophy.
It's about doing the right thing for our customers.
Participating in our community with annual local fundraisers. Offering individual attention in a modern banking atmosphere with a trusted local company. Gulf Coast Bank invested in technology with a local touch, giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime.
We're building relationships through personal service as the bank that cares about you.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
To all of our heroes working on the front lines of this COVID-19 pandemic, your bravery and selflessness represent the very best of us, and we want to say thank you. I'm asking everyone around the state to join me in celebrating the heroism of our healthcare professionals on the 19th of every month at 1900 hours, that's 7 p.m. Write a note of appreciation, make plans to donate to charitable organizations, or say a prayer. To learn more, visit 19thanks.org. Thank you, and God bless.
Coming up on Fridays Off the Bench, let's kick off the weekend with some Football Friday. Hunt Palmer and Cole Kublik stop by, breaking down the SEC and LSU. Continue to break down Saints Falcons. Big Fave drops in. Off the Bench, 104.5 ESPN.
Hangin with Hester and Hanny on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge and 1130 The Tiger.
Make Christmas wishes come true this holiday season with 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge's $15,000 sweepstakes presented by Acura of Baton Rouge. Sign up now at 1045ESPN.com for your chance to win $15,000 from 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
NBA draft last night. Pels with multiple picks, but they ended up holding on to only one of them, and it was their first pick, their original pick, not the pick that they acquired from Milwaukee. And with that pick, they took Kira Lewis Jr. from Alabama. Now, LSU fans should be very familiar with Kira Lewis, 6'3", 165, 170-pound point guard. If you watched Kira Lewis play, the first thing you would notice, the first thing anybody would notice, you don't have to be a scout, he's real fast. real fast. There are players that have straight line speed, but there are players that can move exceptionally fast with the basketball. I don't know what Kira Lewis runs the 40 in. I just know that when he's dribbling a basketball, there are very, very few people in the country that are any faster than he has. And if you remember when he played against LSU, they obviously had a problem with dribble penetration. He is a guy that can put up a floater in the lane and make it. He was an exceptional free throw shooter. He was a good three-point shooter, not a elite three-point shooter. Scouts think that that's the part of his game that can improve as he gets older. The thought process is that if you are a good free throw shooter, then you can add some range. And a lot of scouts that look at what they call true shooting percentage will look at free throw percentage in college more than they will look at 3-point percentage in college. So he's got some high range potential there. Obviously, at 170 pounds, he's got to get bigger. He's 19 years old. He graduated high school a year early. He spent 2 years at Alabama, so he's only 19 years old.
He was a 17-year-old freshman that entire season.
His birthday is in April.
We always make jokes about where I went to high school and how old I was.
Right.
I turned 17 at the end of my sophomore year at Evangel.
You turned 17 at the end of your sophomore year.
So at the very end of it.
I turned 17 midway through my senior year. So now I went to school with the stone tablets and all that stuff. But
so you give me an idea of his age.
Right. So he's only 19 years old. There's a lot of long range potential here. And for a team that I think is going to want to push the basketball, he's going to be able to fit in. They will not need him to play a ton as a 19-year-old rookie. They do have Lonzo Ball as their starting point guard, and they acquired 2 point guards from Milwaukee that they did not trade last night, Eric Bledsoe and George Hill, both of whom can run the part, and Josh Hart, of course, can handle the ball as well. So they don't need him to play a ton right from the very beginning. This is not like a Zion Williams thing where it's the second you're ready to go, you're in the starting lineup. But he's somebody that has a lot of long-range potential. And if you heard him after he was picked, guys fired up. If you didn't hear it, hey, let's let you hear it.
The young core guys, older guys they mesh well, they compete, like to get out and run, play above the rim. So I just feel like I said, the city is great. They come out of support. I just feel like it was a great situation for me. I feel like I could come in and help them whatever they asked me for.
Loosely translated, I get to play with Zion.
Yes. By the way, that's a fantastic accent, little country accent. I'm all here for all the sound we can get from him all year long. You know that brings a tear to a glass eye for me. You're right, though. If I'm a young player and I start looking at rosters across the NBA, there's some teams that stand out as far as young core. I mean, you look at the Suns, some different teams, but the Pelicans are in there without question. I mean, they've got guys that are on the verge of being superstars. Zion, if he can stay healthy and all those issues, and B.I. was just a sixth man of the year, or most improved player in the NBA this year. So he's only going to continue, I think, to be that guy that almost, is on the verge of becoming a superstar. So, yeah, I look at this roster and Jackson Hayes and what he potentially could be, and Lonzo Ball and being on the court. Stan Van Gundy mentioned that, being on the court at the same time with Lonzo Ball. So if I'm a young basketball player, there's no question this is a roster that I would love to join.
Any NBA guy, any player that gets drafted, this is their dream. I'm in the NBA. I've been drafted by the NBA. But once that wears off, it's, maybe I don't want to be with this franchise, or that's not exactly where I wanted to go. And I'm not saying that the 13th pick in the draft has nearly the leverage that one of the top 2 or 3 picks in the draft does. But in the past, when players would get drafted, oh yeah, I'm happy to be in, and you find out, or I'm happy to be traded there, and you find out a little bit later, it's like, they have that look on their face that really tells you everything you need to know about. It's not exactly, like the Tin Man. You didn't want to be in New Orleans. Now what you're hearing is, I need to play with Zion.
Right.
Okay, this is going to be really, really cool.
If you didn't move one of your veteran point guards last night, you select one. So now you have 4. Now all of them look a little different, right? They're different skill sets, but you're not going to keep 4 point guards. I don't think you can. Now, do some of these players have the ability to be out there and be a 2 in a 2-point guard system? Yeah, they do, but I can't imagine they keep 4 point guards. I mean,
I can imagine that they keep 4-point guards at the beginning of the season. What this does is it sets you up. If you didn't get an offer that you liked last night, then what you do is you wait for the trade deadline and you look for a team that's had an injury, a contending team that needs a veteran. Happens every year. Somebody gets an injury that they don't think, somebody's not performing quite right, somebody has a hole that they need to fill.
But doesn't
and
that
you make a
handcuff
move.
your roster if you have 4 point guards?
How much do you think Hero Lewis is going to play in the first?
Well, it doesn't matter. He's going to be on the roster. He ain't going to the G League.
Well, they could protect him. They could send him down there. But no, even if he's sitting on the end of the bench, even if he's some nights did not play coach's decision. I mean, that happened last year with Nikhil. That happened with Jackson Hayes at times last year.
I mean, Nikhil's got some point guard. I mean, he's played point in his career. When you look at Frank Jackson, I mean,
yeah, no, they've got guys. What you asked me is, can they keep
right.
all these guys to start the season? I'm telling you, there's a way to do that if you feel like the trade value for the veterans is going to be higher at the trade deadline than it is now. It's doable. It's not long-term doable, but is it doable between December 22nd and the trade deadline? Yes, I think it is, because I don't suspect that Lewis is going to play very much in that first month of the season.
I don't either, but your hope is it doesn't handcuff the roster as far as you're so point guard heavy that you don't fill out the rest of the roster. You don't have a 4 behind Zion because, hey, you're going to need him.
They'll figure that out. They'll figure that out. I have faith.
Cade, I hope you were recording that. Okay, good. He pointed to the Adobe.
I like it better when you don't force a deal because of a need or something like that. That's when the worst deals usually happen, when you find a team that is desperate to do something. The Pelicans are not desperate to do anything with Eric Bledsoe or George Hill. They're not desperate to do anything with Lonzo Ball, whether it be a contract extension or anything. They have options. They have the luxury of being able to let the board come to them. And when I say the board, I'm talking about the entire league. Yes, they can carry all these guys to start the season.
So Bledsoe's played some 2 in his career.
Mm-hmm.
Now he's 6'1".
Mm-hmm.
Not a lot of 6'1", 2s out there. Do you think he starts the season, though, as the Pelicans starting to, JJ comes off the bench kind of like he did a year ago at the end of the season?
I don't know. I couldn't even hazard a guess before they go to camp. We haven't heard Stan Van Gundy speak to that yet after the draft very much. We just got some initial comments. So I don't know. I don't know exactly what it looks like.
I'm putting the roster together. I'm going to crunch some numbers here during some of these breaks.
Okay. So you on board with this pick or not?
I like the player. But I need to know why 4 point guards right now. You just traded for 2. You got rid of Drew Holiday. You bring 2 in, and then you draft 1. And you know you've got one in Lonzo Ball that you just got a year ago that was a big trade piece in what you got back for Anthony Davis.
Assets. You have assets.
Yeah, don't make an ass by having too many assets.
I like the idea of having assets rather than liabilities here.
And I hear you. And I'm not saying that all 4 of these players I think actually are good players. But what's the roster look like? Are you going to be strong enough? Because I do think you still need to look at the center position. You do need to have a solid 4 option behind Zion. Zion's not playing 82 games. He's just not.
Patience, Grasshopper. We hadn't gotten to free agency yet. Hey, I tell you what, though, just put your mind at rest here a little bit. Here's David Griffin after the draft last night about what's next.
Big picture-wise, I would tell you that there's an awful lot left to be done. Obviously, with free agency starting as quickly as it does, we have some targets in mind there, and we've got some other trade conversations going on as well. So there's a great many things happening all at one time.
You feel better with him saying it than me?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, you should.
I mean, I do, but
he's
still,
he's the vice president of basketball operations.
Again, my only worries are the options they have for big men, the 4 and the 5 position. That's something. and I thought they would address it with their second pick, and they decided to move on from that pick.
Anybody that they would have taken with that second pick was not going to be ready to play in January. I promise. I know this.
They almost got the big man from Memphis. He almost got there.
Yeah, I know this because so few of the rookies, and even fewer once you get further down the draft board, are ready to go at that point. See, the guy I need to step in and play those minutes now is Jackson Hayes. He had his, I won't call it quite a redshirt year because he played some, but that now I'm ready for him to play more minutes. I'm ready for Nikhil to play more minutes. That's just trust, okay? Trust the process.
You're having, for somebody who's usually a negative Nancy, you are having a lot of trust today. I like it.
Well,
we're switching roles.
I like the idea that they are accumulating good basketball players. I don't have to have the puzzle put together here a week before Thanksgiving. I need the puzzle put together once they get into the latter stages of camp after
the season
free
starts
pretty
soon.
Hadn't been through free agency yet. It's June.
It ain't June.
It is June. It's June.
Okay.
In a normal year, right now, it's June.
There's a tip coming in like 6 weeks.
Yeah, but it's June. The draft is in June. Free agency starts in June. It's June.
Real quick.
You gotta fix your mind around a new calendar.
All right, you always throw true or false out at me. I'm gonna throw you one before we take a break. True or false? If Halliburton would have not been selected by the Kings, they would have selected him instead.
Yes, true. I'm not telling you I didn't like him better.
Right.
Okay. But I think there's some potential here with Kira Lewis. We got to do more on that. We got to take a break here. Clint Sterner, when we come back, we'll talk a little LSU, Arkansas. Still on. Hang in there. Brought to you by Richards Honda. Hanging with Hester and Hanny, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Hanging with Hester and Hanny.
Why would you ever do something so foolish as to hurt yourself, something so foolish as to hurt your neighbors, something so foolish as to have power go out, or a yard flooded, or all of your communication lines down, or maybe even cause an explosion? Well, people do it, unfortunately, all the time by digging before they call 811. And all they got to do is pick up the phone, and you're on the phone for 30 seconds. You give them your address. Somebody comes out within 2 days. They mark the location of all the buried lines on your property. So do that, please. Give us all a break and do that.
You probably got family coming in next weekend, right? You got some honeydews. Got to replace some of those flowers in the flower bed. Make sure you call 811 or go to Louisiana811.com and submit a ticket there before you put a shovel in the ground. Do not be that guy that Hanny's talking about. Don't ruin the holidays. You have to know what's below. Remember, it is the law. Call 811 before you dig.
Saints coverage, Chiefs, Cowboys, Thursday night, Sunday night, and Monday Night Football. From the opening kickoff to the playoffs and the Super Bowl, the NFL lives on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
This isn't just another day. It's so much more. Kelly's life was put on hold when her auctioneer primary care doctor discovered a rare blood disorder. Her doctor connected her to an auctioneer care team of cancer, heart, and kidney specialists. With multiple primary care locations around Baton Rouge, same-day appointments, and online scheduling, we're relentless about keeping you healthy. Auctioneer Baton Rouge, innovating healthcare for Kelly.
T-Bob Hebert here with breaking news. Front to Back Boat Services is the shop to upgrade your boat tech this fall. With not one but two NMEA certified techs, who better to install your Panoptic sonar, your HD displays. You want to see the fish under the water before you even cast? They have that. Trolling motor you could control with your iPhone? They have that. So what are you waiting for? Get into Front to Back Boat Services right now. Upgrade your boat tech. Make your boating dreams come true. Front to Back Boat Services.
If I built a van, it would do more than haul.
It would carry my entire business. I'd make it available in dozens, if not thousands of configurations.
It would keep an eye on my fleet.
And an eye out for danger.
If I built a van, I'd make it available in diesel and gas. And I'd build it right here in South Carolina.
Introducing the all-new Sprinter, starting at $33,790. Built in the USA. Mercedes-Benz. Vans. Born to run.
You may not know about the 4Kids Foundation, but you've probably heard of the Zurich Classic. And the Zurich Classic exists because of 4Kids. But it's what happens after the tournament that really counts. 100% of the proceeds are donated by the 4Kids Foundation to hundreds of local charities totaling more than $40 million, all to help local children and families in need. 4Kids helps kids through golf because every child deserves a shot at a brighter future.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is a local bank with a straightforward philosophy.
It's about doing the right thing for our customers.
Participating in our community with annual local fundraisers, offering individual attention in a modern banking atmosphere with a trusted local company. Gulf Coast Bank invested in technology with a local touch, giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime.
We're building relationships through personal service as the bank that cares about you.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
At All-Star Toyota, you get it all. If you're in the market for an all-new Toyota vehicle, come see our friendly and knowledgeable sales team at All-Star Toyota. Located in Baton Rouge at the corner of Airline and Goodwood, we've been serving our community since 2005 by offering a large selection of new Toyota cars, trucks, and SUVs. Get behind the wheel of your dream car and take a test drive at All-Star Toyota today.
Tune in Friday night for a full night of prep football coverage. It all starts at 6 with Louisiana Prep Preview. Catholic High and Woodlawn kick off at 7. And we wrap things up with a full 2 hours of Louisiana Prep Scoreboard at 10 on YouTube, CST, and 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Hangin with Hester and Hanny on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge and 1130 The Tiger.
All right, welcome back in. Hanging with Hester and Hanny, presented by Richards Honda. Excited to welcome back on the show one of my favorite guys, Clint Sterner. You can catch him on Cox Sports TV, part of Arkansas Game Day Live, 103.7 The Buzz in Little Rock, and Sports Radio 610 in Houston. Clint Sterner, you have more W-2s than I think anybody I know.
Well, they're 1099s. I wish they were all W-2s.
Oh, that's
They'd be
true.
making a whole lot more money. But, yeah, you're right. I got to stay busy, man. Hell, I wasn't that Hester caliber player, man. I was an old backup quarterback. I got to stay busy, baby. Irons in the fire. That's the goal.
Oh, man, I love it. And real quick, before we get into the X's and O's of LSU and Arkansas, I mean, we can't really even get a word if this game's 100% going to be played. I mean, we've got messages coming in. Is this game going to be on? It almost seems like it's not day to day, but hour to hour, you know, because I know Arkansas's got some issues with their numbers.
Yeah, you know, the contact tracing aspect of this thing is an absolute monster. I mean, I think there's a big fear out there when somebody says COVID-19 that it's just a ton of positive tests, which that could be the case. But I think more times than not, whether we're talking NFL ball or we're talking college football, I think a lot of it has more to do with the contact tracing aspect of it, of who was in the 6-foot proximity for more than X number of minutes, and boy, the virus could be incubating in their body, and what are we going to do? You know, so I think that's why there's no definitive answer, you know, immediately until right before game time or 24 hours before game time, and so it's just the day and age in which we're living, man. I think erring on the side of caution is obviously a good thing, especially if we're talking about 18 to 22-year-old kids. But when it's all said and done, you guys know the rules, right? I mean, if there's a number of scholarship players available at the O-line position, then the game is on. If there's X number of players, scholarship players available on the defensive side of the football, the defensive line position, that's a different number, obviously. But if that number is available, hey, game on, let's go play ball. And so I'm just thankful that Arkansas appears to be one of the better coached football teams in the SEC and in the country. And so I think this COVID-19 stuff actually gives them an advantage to be able to overcome those things.
Well, let's go ahead and talk about the coaching staff, because you and I have talked about Sam Pittman when he was hired. We talked about Barry Odom and Browse coming in as coordinators. This staff has done a hell of a job, and that's a big understatement. I mean, what they've been able to do. Now, there was talent on the roster. Chad Morris let them some talent, but they've gotten the most out of that talent. I think it's the best coaching job in the country this year. And when you look at some of the guys that they're getting to play hard, it seems like the prior staff just couldn't even get the most effort out of those guys. So not only are they getting the best effort, but they're putting them in the right position to succeed. I know as a former Arkansas player yourself, you have to love to see that.
Well, yeah, man. I mean, as a former quarterback, Hess, I mean, when I look at this thing, when I evaluate quarterback play, it's the toughest position in all of sports to play. It takes not just the 10 guys that are on the field with you, but I'll argue an entire offensive coaching staff to support that position, to just give that kid a chance to play well. And so when you look at all that it takes to play the quarterback position well, I think that on the offensive side of football, at least, I think that right there speaks volumes. When you see what Felipe Franks is doing offensively, I think that tells you how well the group around him is being coached. I think it tells you about Kendall Briles and the advantage that polo on the sideline is creating, both during the week and developing a quarterback and on game day, scheming up throws in the ocean and scheming up opportunities for that kid to be successful. So I think when you see a quarterback playing at a high level quickly, then there's obviously some pretty good things going on around him. And then defensively, when you see a team that doesn't have depth, this team doesn't have depth on either side of the football that other SEC teams have. Not all SEC teams, but at least the top half of the SEC conference, both divisions. I mean, I think those guys have a different monster in terms of depth and being able to just reload instead of rebuild. Arkansas is not one of those schools. And so when you're able to get, 11 guys that can play more minutes than they probably should play, can play multiple positions, and they do that for a 10-week SEC slate, and they do it at a high level, clearly Barry Odom is next level schematically. And again, on the field coaching, he is next level. The one thing that I think Sam Pittman has done a phenomenal job of, and it's what this game is all about, is he is one of the best coaches, one of the best teachers in the game. I don't know if he's a great head coach or not, but I know he is a great teacher and a great coach in the game of football. And he has surrounded himself with individuals that are teachers and great coaches first and foremost. And I think that is why you see the product at Arkansas probably being ahead of schedule. Nowhere near where they want to be, but definitely ahead of schedule.
When you look at the defensive guys and you mention what Barry Odom's been able to do with them, Bumper Pool and Grant Morgan might be two of my most favorite players that I've covered in college football, because they play with effort, they play with pride, they play with toughness, and they do things in college football that not a lot of people are interested in. I've talked about it for multiple weeks. They actually tackle, and they get guys on the ground. And getting that effort, right, you don't have to have the most talented guys. You have to have them buy into the system. And so for me on the outside, seeing what they've been able to do to get their guys to buy in without having an off season, that might be the most impressive thing this staff's been able to do.
Well, here's the deal, man, is that both of those guys, they have had to play the game a certain way their entire life to get where they're at. Neither one of them are gifted in a sense of speed and size and twitch and things of that nature. So you obviously get a guy that's technically sound, mechanically sound, plays the game between the ears, plays with great instinct, has to tackle well or he doesn't see the field in terms of getting to where he's at today. And so you couple that type of player at the linebacker position with what I think is the MVP of the Arkansas defense right now, the defensive lineman. First of all, you don't get a group that's this talented very often at Arkansas ever. But when you look at Isaiah Nichols, you look at Eric Gregory, you look at Jonathan Marshall. I know I'm leaving some guys off there. There's 4 or 5 of them across there. Coates, I can't remember Coates' first name, but the junior college kid that came in, he's having a hell of a year. But those guys are playing absolute big-time football up front. They're not very deep, so they struggle being consistent. They struggle in the fourth quarter, but they are playing big-time football at the line of scrimmage, at the point of attack, and that allows these undersized, probably, I think it's fair to say, not as talented as other linebackers in the league, but it allows those guys to play between the ears. It allows those guys to play really fast with great instinct and great mechanics and great technique. You give them the space, and they're where they're supposed to be. And when they arrive violently, and they're good tacklers. I think the formula on the defensive side of the football for Arkansas right now, it starts with them big boys up front so that those linebackers you're talking about have the opportunity to showcase what it is they do well, which, again, is instincts and tackling, and they're doing that as well as anybody in the country.
Catching up with Clint Sterner, former Arkansas quarterback. You can now catch him on CST Arkansas Game Day Live here on Hangin with Hester and Hanny. Something else that I've noticed with Arkansas is there's a real buzz around the program, and not only locally, but when you look at the recruiting rankings, I'm not the biggest recruiting guy, but obviously when your play on the field improves as fast as it did, you can see it in the recruiting rankings as well. They're doing a really nice job of getting a top-tier class together, because I remember when Sam Pittman took over, they were in the 70s. I I think they were 79th in recruiting when he took over. Now he has them in the top 20 in composite recruiting rankings. It's amazing how fast that can change when you've got an elite recruiter as your head coach and you start to have success on the field.
Well, look, here's the deal with Arkansas right now. They're literally, when you talk about mothers and fathers around the country, if they get to Northwest Arkansas, where the university is, they feel very comfortable sending their kids to school there and letting them spread their wings and become a man, essentially. And so it's a great place for families to be. It's a great place for mothers and fathers to feel comfortable to send their kids. You've got a coaching staff that I think they win because they're genuine, they're sincere, they're authentic. I think that overcomes any kind of differences, right? Doesn't matter if you're black, doesn't matter if you're white, doesn't matter if you're from Florida or Seattle, Washington. It doesn't matter. I mean, that when you're genuine, sincere, and you're authentic, it travels across the country in recruiting. And I think Barry Odom's that way. I think Kendall Briles is that way. I know Justin Stepp is that way, the receiving coach there. He's one of the best recruiters in the country. And you know Sam Pittman's that way. So the genuine, sincere authenticity of this coaching staff, I think, is special. You couple that with the opportunity to play early, because obviously there's at the very least depth issues. So you can walk on campus and be a second stringer if you can legitimately ball, right? And then you look at what these guys are doing. I mean, can you guys tell me, can you right now tell me that you're going to go if you're an offensive lineman, that you're going to go anywhere in the country and get better coaching than the University of Arkansas? You can't. And if you can give me one, I'll be damned if you can give me three. Arkansas is one of the best places for offensive line coach, right? At the offensive line development. You look at Kendall Briles, look at his track record, whether you're a quarterback or a receiver. Go back and look at what he did at Baylor, the receivers that were coming out of there, the quarterbacks that were coming out of there. I mean, the guys, the running back that came out of was it Florida Atlantic he was at, or was it International, which came out of the league right now balling. So
Atlantic,
you look at his system, guys, and you go, hey, this guy right here, he puts skilled players in the league, and he highlights, showcases skilled running backs, tight ends, or wide receivers. Is there a better offensive mind to play for, where you know if you're a baller, that you're going to get touches, you're going to get highlighted, you're going to get a chance to play at the next level? I'll argue that if you can name one better, there's damn sure not three. I mean, Barry Odom, I don't know how, but out of Missouri, was putting out outside linebackers and defensive linemen left and right over a 4 or 5 year span when he was there earlier in his career. And you just go, how in the hell was he doing that? Because he's an unbelievable coach. So there's several reasons why I think this staff can sit down in the living room and win in recruiting and win in a big way. And that's absolutely what they have to do at Arkansas to compete with LSU, Auburn, Alabama, Georgia on a yearly basis.
All right, he is Clint Sterner. You can catch him this Saturday right here on a CST. Arkansas Game Day Live coming up at 10 a.m. Clint, always appreciate the time, brother.
All right, man. Thanks for having me, guys. Y'all be good. Go Hogs, baby.
See, he knew what he was doing. Clint knew what he was doing. He knew he could throw a Go Hogs in there before I'd have a rebuttal.
He just roped you right in there.
He did. But no, Clint does a great job, and he's right about the Arkansas program. Right now, they've had that buzz. Sam Pittman has that team believing. He's doing a great job getting the guys that they haven't been able to get there in a long time. I mean, since Houston Nutt was really going in the mid-2000s, they haven't been able to go into Texas. Hell, they haven't been able to go into Oklahoma, really, somewhere where they've gotten players from in the past. And now Sam Pittman's kind of opening some of those doors up because they have to get the fringe guys. They just have to. If there's any fringe guys around their area that are thinking, I'm going to go to Arkansas, they got to get them. They got to get the East Texas guys that aren't going to A&M or aren't going to Texas, or they feel like they can play quicker at Arkansas. They've got to steal some of those guys.
Take a break. Hanging with Hester and Hanny, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Hanging with Hester and Hanny.
GMFS Mortgage, gmfsmortgage.com, helping you navigate financially through 2020. You know, your biggest expense every month is almost certainly, if you're like most Americans, going to be your home ownership or your rent. Wouldn't it be a little bit better for you if you could lower that bill, or if you could shorten the time that you're paying on a mortgage? Well, with the interest rates the way they are right now, those are real possibilities. Meet with a local counselor here from gmfsmortgage.com. With the rates as low as they are, you owe it to yourself to at least take a look. So whether it's a new home where you have more purchasing power, whether it's getting out of renting for the first time, whether it's a refi in your current home that will lower that rate and lower your monthly expenditures, or construction loan to stay in your home, even if you do need to upsize. GMFS Mortgage can help you. They'll work with you from the very beginning, that initial consultation, all the way to the closing. There won't be any surprise. I think you'll be really pleased with how rapid that process goes. Do what I and many others have done and start at GMFSmortgage.com.
In times of need, get a full list of phone numbers, websites, and other important emergency information on the Demco Stormwatch page at 1045ESPN.com.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
Are you a licensed contractor? There's lots of good contractors in Louisiana doing work the right way, but unfortunately, too many unlicensed contractors are working outside the licensing requirements. Working as a contractor in Louisiana requires a license for the company doing the work. The Louisiana State Licensing Board for Contractors wants to help you get licensed to allow you to conduct work legally. It's not difficult to get the license. We can help you. Go to lacontractor.org for more information. Licensed contractors, it's the law.
This is a house call. This is a follow-up appointment. This is a diabetes checkup. This isn't just more convenient care, it's more advanced care. This is innovating healthcare at Louisiana's #1 hospital, Ochsner.
ServiceMaster Elite create clean, disinfected work environments. As a local business, we take pride in serving the New Orleans and Baton Rouge areas. Our cleaning protocols follow CDC and OSHA standards for healthcare settings, offices, senior living, restaurants, and industrial plants. Contact ServiceMaster Elite to get your operation ready for reopening with germ disinfection cleaning. ServiceMaster Elite, the trusted choice in professional cleaning since 1996.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is a local bank with a straightforward philosophy.
It's about doing the right thing for our customers.
Participating in our community with annual local fundraisers. Offering individual attention in a modern banking atmosphere with a trusted local company. Gulf Coast Bank invested in technology with a local touch, giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime.
We're building relationships through personal service as the bank that cares about you.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust.
Hey, it's Matt Moscona inviting you to join us for a Thursday edition of AFR presented by the Aesthetic Medicine and Anti-Aging Clinics of Louisiana. Full hour of football talk with Mike Detillier. Ryan Clark joins us, our Fantasy Blitz. You join us as well, 3 to 6, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Hangin with Hester and Hanny on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge and 1130 The Tiger.
We're brought to you by Richards Honda, home of the warm and fuzzy feeling. Well, Golden State got their big man last night in the draft in James Wiseman, but devastating news for the Warriors today as Klay Thompson has suffered a season-ending Achilles tear. So this will be back-to-back seasons that Klay Thompson will miss. And you wonder, one injury you come back from, 2 injuries, you wonder if you'll ever be the same, and the likelihood is no, you will not be ever the same player again.
I agree with you. I guess the only if there is a good part, he is not a guy that is going to go out there and dribble it and try to create his own shot. He lives in the corners. He lives in the wings. He's a guy that's catch and shoot. quick release, doesn't even explain what he has. And so maybe because that's his game, maybe he can play a little bit longer. Maybe he's going to be close to the player he was. But you're right. These are two devastating injuries. And this one I think is worse than the ACL.
I agree.
The ACL they've gotten figured out, and it's a little bit ahead of where the rehab is for this injury.
It's not to say that he won't ever play again, but usually when you have two season endings back
you have
to
be
back,
the guy that you were.
Be that guy again.
Yeah.
Think about guys like Grant Hill and Derrick Rose,
Kenny Hardaway, Tracy McGrady.
When you have two, tough break. On Palmer when we come back, hour number 2, hanging with Hester and Hanny, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Hangin with Hester and Hanny.
Heart and kidney specialist with multiple primary care locations around Baton Rouge, same-day appointments, and online scheduling. We're relentless about keeping you healthy. Ochsner Baton Rouge, innovating healthcare for Kelly.
You may not know about the 4 Kids Foundation, but you've probably heard of the Zurich Classic. And the Zurich Classic exists because of 4 kids. But it's what happens after the tournament that really counts. 100% of the proceeds are donated by the 4 Kids Foundation to hundreds of local charities totaling more than $40 million, all to help local children and families in need. 4 Kids helps kids through golf because every child deserves a shot at a brighter future.
Are you a licensed contractor? There's lots of good contractors in Louisiana doing work the right way, but unfortunately, too many unlicensed contractors are working outside the licensing requirements. Working as a contractor in Louisiana requires a license for the company doing the work. The Louisiana State Licensing Board for Contractors wants to help you get licensed to allow you to conduct work legally. It's not difficult to get the license. We can help you. Go to lacontractor.org for more information. Licensed contractors, it's the law.
At All-Star Toyota, you get it all. If you're in the market for an all-new Toyota vehicle, come see our friendly and knowledgeable sales team at All-Star Toyota. Located in Baton Rouge at the corner of Airline and Goodwood, we've been serving our community since 2005 by offering a large selection of new Toyota cars, trucks, and SUVs. Get behind the wheel of your dream car and take a test drive at All-Star Toyota today.
Do you know someone who sets a good example for all of us to follow? Someone who shows leadership, selflessness, and service to their community without being asked? We think that's the definition of a good citizen, and so does Citizens Bank and Trust. If you know someone who exhibits all of these qualifications, nominate them for a Good Citizen Award, and they could receive $500 from Citizens Bank. And we'll recognize them here on the show. Get the details at citizensbankandtrust.com, and then nominate your good citizen.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
This is a house call. This is a follow-up appointment. This is a diabetes checkup. This isn't just more convenient care, it's more advanced care.
Hand injury lawyers. Now, Hangin with Hester and Hanny with Jacob Hester and Charles Hannegriff. Hester and Hanny on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge and 1130 The Tiger. Alongside Jacob Hester, here's Charles Hannegriff.
Hour number 2, Hanging with Hester and Hanny. And Hunt, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge. Kate and Danny on the board here, and we're glad you're with us on this Thursday afternoon. We're brought to you by Richards Honda, home of the warm and fuzzy feeling. Hello, Hunt. How are you?
I'm good. We playing football this weekend or not? Or
as of 1 o'clock and 45 seconds, we are playing football this weekend. Subject to change, of course, but as of right now, yeah, everything is like I said, through some exhaustive investigating. I found out that they were loading the truck this morning because I passed by the facility and saw them loading the truck. So that was
good reporting.
Good indication that they were on their way. Look, there's more testing to come out. I mean, we saw Michigan State and Maryland got canceled today or postponed, whatever you want to call it. Mike Loxley tested positive. So, yes, right now they're playing.
Sorry I asked.
It's a reasonable question. Pretty much any time you ask it these days, a lot of cancellations for this weekend, but way more games are playing. I think that's what gets lost in this is, well, they should just cancel season. No, the majority of the teams are still playing. Up until last week, I think it was still 83% are still playing. And so you let the ones that can play, and you stop the ones that can't. When it gets to be this many, you do go, it does become wearisome.
Can I give some good news-ish?
Is that allowed?
Sure.
Okay.
The Pac-12 football schedule is going to change. League presidents approve addition of non-conference games.
When?
I don't know when.
That was my question, too. You know what I asked him, hon? He told me this in the hallway during the break. He's like, the Pac-12's approved non-conference opponents, and I said, for basketball, right? And he said, no, for football.
Well, that doesn't make any sense.
You know who it does make sense for?
Oregon.
BYU.
Okay.
BYU's not in the Pac-12, are they?
But they're not. But you know what? They're going to benefit.
They're in direct proxy.
If I'm BYU, I'm calling every single one of those schools, but the top, I start at the I'm Oregon, USC, Stanford, whoever. Hey, we need it.
But you call Cincinnati and Liberty while you're at it, but
Liberty and Coastal game's going to be
when
things I never thought I'd say.
You
Liberty
say
and
it.
Coastal. It's going to be. It's undefeated teams.
This means that if your game is canceled for COVID, you can call somebody else, right? That's okay. Well, this is what the Big Ten wanted. This is what Nebraska wanted, and the Big Ten was like, "Cade, where's my and the Big Ten said, "Where's my buzzer?" No, no. Oh, the buzzer
DJ,
button is on.
Ooey, Angalele.
The buzzer's got
it's one of those things that at the time everyone looked at Nebraska like they were the petulant child in the corner, and the rest of the Big Ten and the commissioner were the mean teacher with the whip. And all of a sudden you come to realize, wait, the little kid had a point here. Like, we're now playing, and we'd like to try to play some more, and if we can't play, then we'll figure something else out.
Desmond told him shut their ass up. That was direct quote.
Is trying to work through a problem being a petulant child? I mean, I don't know.
No.
Well, that's what everyone thought when they were like, they said, the Big Ten said, well, we're not playing. And Nebraska said, well, we're ready to play, which is in a direct violation of quote unquote orders from the superior.
In the interest of trying to let people do their jobs and, not go broke at the same time. If that's being a petulant child, then need to have a conversation with people about what being a petulant child. Being a petulant child would have been, we want to play football, screw all the protocols, we don't care what the consequences are, we're playing anyway. That's being a petulant child. Saying, we want to adhere to all the protocols, we want to follow the science, we believe this is safe, the doctors believe this is safe, we can benefit a great many people by doing this, and the Big Ten saying we're not even going to consider it, well, I would tell you that That's being a petulant child. The answer is no. How many tell you the answer is no? Why? Because I said so. Oh,
oh my God, do I hate that when somebody says
because I said so. That's a petulant child answer. Saying I have a solution to the problem, I'm able to work through the problem, and I can get to a solution. I can get to a yes. But you don't even want to hear how I'm going to do that. That's being a petulant child. I'm shocked that the Pac-12, of all people, is taking the lead on this.
The lead and the Pac-12 don't go together.
They really don't. Now, we're nearing the end of November, so better late than never, I guess.
I'm still shocked because you ever watch the show Entourage?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
They're never Vinny Chase. Everybody else is Vinny Chase. They're not. They're Turtle. They'll follow.
Turtle was very important.
Even Johnny Drama. They're Johnny Drama. They play, they act, but they're going to follow brother wherever he goes. They're going to do whatever he does.
They are definitely drama.
Yeah.
They're not. Turtle was helpful.
Yeah, I actually like Turtle.
Drama was a drag on the ticket. Drama was the most aggravating one out of the group.
Turtle got rich.
Turtle got rich at the end. That's right. Spoiler alert.
Tequila company.
I mean, Turtle drove the car. I mean, he was at least he was useful. Okay, Drama didn't do anything but sit there and complain.
Victory.
You know,
Pac-12
about all
the follower. That's what I'm trying to get to.
It's funny that he wasn't
the
even.
Fact that you've seen that makes me so happy.
He wasn't even a follower. He was the petulant child that complained that the world was out to get him every day. This is a really good analogy that I never considered.
Johnny Bananas?
My goodness, if college football is Entourage, then the SEC and the Big 12 and the ACC were Vinny Chase, and the Big 10 and the Big 10 and the Pac-12 were Drama.
Yeah.
Okay, and the non-power fives, all the ones that are playing. They were Turtle and E.
Yeah.
I mean, they're trying to help.
Yeah.
They're in the way more than anything. Well, E was in the way more than anything, but Turtle was useful. Turtle drove the car. Turtle was there when you needed a wingman when he went off to the island by himself. He brought Turtle. He didn't bring the other
Who's
two.
Sloan? We need to get to the important stuff. Who's Sloan?
The other two.
I mean, who's Ari Gold? Lloyd!
Yeah. Oh, who is Ari Gold? Yes.
Look, when Lloyd was producing the show,
Rush, Ari Gold was the ass kicker that got everybody going. He's our guy Brad Teague up at Central Arkansas.
That's right.
Brad Teague, he's Ari Gold. He's like, get the bleep out if you can't keep up. Yes, Brad Teague is Ari Gold. Let me get back to you on Sloan because that's
it's important stuff.
That's worth talking about.
God, this is my favorite segment in a long time. This feels natural. This feels like home.
Well, everybody that's seen Entourage is out there going yes or no, and everybody that hasn't seen Entourage goes, I don't know what you're talking about.
If you haven't seen Entourage, just Google.
You're lost.
If Hunt Palmer seen Entourage, everyone listening has seen it.
Call Jimmy and see if he's seen Entourage.
Okay, Jimmy doesn't count. Jimmy ain't listening anyways. He's not awake yet.
Well, he just finished Game of Thrones, so I think he's got to go a ways back.
Well, Jimmy and Hunt were before the pandemic were pretty much neck and neck as far as pop culture references and things like that. Now, Jimmy made up a lot. Both of you made up a lot of ground during the pandemic.
Bad movies.
No, you both of you made up a lot of ground, and I haven't seen Game of Thrones, so I
haven't either, and I will not. No, thank you.
You got some kind of...
I don't do sci-fi, fantasy world stuff. That's just no good.
I'm told that there's a little bit more to it than that, but
there is.
To each...
I won't take that slander on this show.
Well, see, you saw it. You got to take up for it because I have.
We've already had
siblings.
We've had that conversation many a times. You know, Hunt and I've been doing this for about 3 years together, so we've had all these conversations, but we've never had the Entourage conversation, and I'm so glad that happened today. I'm glad that the Pac-12 decided to be a leader, and we could have that conversation today.
So what you're saying is when we look at the schedule every week from here on out, and that's going to be it's better than a month, so there's still some time left to make up some games here. So, for instance, in the Pac this week, you have one canceled game, Arizona State and Colorado. I don't know why that game is canceled because I don't know which end it's on.
Right.
It's the Arizona State or the Colorado.
I think
end.
it's Arizona State. Herm Edwards has COVID.
So under their rule, if they had done this 2 days ago, Colorado could have called BYU and said, "Let's play."
Colorado State, BYU,
or
yeah,
anybody.
Absolutely.
Okay. Well, now we got to look at this. If the Pac-12 thinks that this is safe,
so the Holy War could be back on.
Yeah, you could put the Holy War back.
I don't know if that helps BYU. In fact, I know it doesn't. Utah's not ranked this year. That doesn't help you.
So this probably doesn't really work for the SEC because they've got enough conference.
They've got enough games.
They've got enough conference games they need to make
they
up
can't
anyway.
figure out where to make their games up. Yeah.
Who else does this work for? Would this work for the Big 12, ACC, any team? The Big 10.
No, because the Big 12's done. The Big 12's not getting in the college football playoff, and that's one of the reasons you would do this, to try to get that money from the CFP.
Yeah, but hang on, Mr. Athletic Director. If you can put a game on and put it on television and get paid for it.
If you can.
I mean, I'm not saying that, a Baylor Liberty game doesn't do anything for Baylor in the grand scheme of things, other than it's a game you can put on TV and make some money, but it would be a game.
So to answer the question, that's the only factor is the money, because the teams that are in the chase to win a national championship and be in the playoff are not going to pick up the phone. Notre Dame and Clemson don't need to play anybody else. They need to play the ACC championship game against each other. They don't need any more strength of schedule.
All of these teams need to play games for money, though.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Money plays. That's the discussion. So at that point, everybody's in the mix. If you're talking about who needs, because we were talking about resume stuff when it comes down to BYU, nobody else in the Power 5 really needs it.
And you have to have a TV part. Now, TV's been coming up short, so I'm sure they would put a game on, but you'd have to make sure that was all in place if it was for money, because the gate will help you in some places, but how many people, if it's Arkansas State playing Baylor, how many people are showing up to that? So I don't know what the money ramifications would be, but if you're just talking about resume builders, I think that it has to be the independent schools that are going to try to do as much as they can. And we're talking about, there's two, Liberty and BYU are both independents that are undefeated right now.
Okay, fair enough. But Nebraska was trying to move heaven and earth to play Chattanooga.
Mm-hmm. Chattanooga.
They considered it important enough to play a game for whatever revenue there was there, that they were willing to go jump through quite a few hoops before the Big Ten shot them down to bring in Chattanooga. Not the University of Tennessee, Chattanooga.
Nebraska also has the backing of their government, so they could potentially, because it wouldn't be a Big Ten game, they could potentially maybe get some more fans in the stands, where some of these Big Ten schools can't get any fans in the stands, and the numbers look a little bit different. So maybe just because Nebraska's situation with the backing of the governor there, maybe that's a different situation. And that was earlier in the season as well, before Nebraska had lost 2 games or 3 games, however many they lost.
You got a sympathetic governor in the Pac-12? Probably not.
I doubt it.
Let's see.
Arizona, maybe.
Yeah. I don't know.
Certainly not California.
Ain't going to be Oregon. They're
certainly not
decriminalized
Oregon.
heroin.
No.
You tell me Newsom's not going to let them play?
Well, only if it's played
before 10 o'clock.
Only if it's played at the Chinese Laundry, or was that the name of the place he was at?
Yeah, I don't remember the name.
It was the something Laundry that was the name of the restaurant he went to. When he told everybody in California to stay home, do not go to work, do not go to school, do not go anywhere, but I'm going to go to the party at the Chinese Laundry.
So to kind of finish this thought up, do we think that any of these games will actually get scheduled? Do we think that BYU, Liberty, whoever, one of the service academies, they've missed a bunch of games, they've missed some revenue as well, maybe they could play. Do we think any games get scheduled? I mean, they don't vote unless they think something's going to get done.
Right. The Pac-12 wouldn't have gone to the trouble to do this if they weren't alerted by some of their schools that, hey, we have games in the queue that we can get done if you'll just give us a go-ahead. Yeah, I do.
Colorado and Colorado State could say right now on Thursday, if they wanted to, let's play. If Colorado State didn't have a game, and they could get it done. I mean, that's not far from each other.
No, I can't guarantee that BYU is going to get a game that they want, but are there going to be games scheduled because of this? Yeah, sure. Can't imagine that there wouldn't be. Otherwise, why would they have gone to this trouble?
If BYU scheduled Oregon or USC, and they go out there and they beat them, is that enough to get them in the college football playoff?
Who are they up against?
Just right now with put Notre Dame, Alabama, and whoever. I'm just asking.
Are they the fourth-ranked team right now if they go beat Oregon? No.
9-1 A&M. I don't even know how do I get them in there, but I'm just trying to keep them out.
But at the end of the season, yeah, maybe so. I mean, you still got enough undefeated teams to hold a rope against.
And I'm not
them.
even asking like who they overtake. I'm asking would their resume be playoff worthy?
You got to give them. You got to give me somebody that they're going against. I got to know.
9-1 A&M.
Yeah.
Non-division champ.
If Alabama goes and thrashes
and beats
Florida, or yeah, they can just beat them by 1 point. Actually, they don't need to thrash them. 9-1 A&M.
Let me take a look. I'll tell you. Tell you
Is
after
this
the
a
break.
tease? We're teasing this.
We're teasing this.
Okay.
Mostly because I don't know the answer right now. I don't want to give an uninformed. Let me take a look at their whole schedule, and I'll tell you when we come back.
Look at that tease. You've done this before.
Yeah. Hanging with Hester and Hanny. 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Hanging with Hester and Hanny.
All right, brought to you by Tiger Athletic Foundation. I tell you every single day, as a former LSU student athlete, I can tell you it means so much to have the support of TAF for us, not only in the classroom and on the field, but just every situation, right? They are committed to helping us. They're committed to keeping that going. LSU Athletics is one of the very few programs in the nation who has remained self-sufficient in its operations. This year, there's crazy times. Adversity all over the place, right? The losses because of COVID-19 are going to be in the tens of millions of dollars. This is a good time to remind ourselves that go we talk about never stops. LSU and the Tiger Athletic Foundation is urging everyone to donate to the Victory Fund to help keep LSU student athletes going. The Victory Fund will provide financial support for the most critical areas of need, including scholarships, healthcare, and academic support for student athletes. Your support is critical to the future of LSU athletics. To learn more information and to donate to the Victory Fund, visit victory.lsutaf.org.
Off the Bench, Hanging with Hester and Hanny. After further review and more are all live daily on the 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge YouTube channel. Subscribe now to interact with us inside the live chat driven by Bayou Ford.
Service Master Elite create clean, disinfected work environments. As a local business, we take pride in serving the New Orleans and Baton Rouge areas. Our cleaning protocols follow CDC and OSHA standards for healthcare settings, offices, senior living, restaurants, and industrial plants. Contact Service Master Elite to get your operation ready for reopening with germ disinfection cleaning. Service Master Elite, the trusted choice in professional cleaning since 1996.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is a local bank with a straightforward philosophy.
It's about doing the right thing for our customers.
Participating in our community with annual local fundraisers. Offering individual attention in a modern banking atmosphere with a trusted local company. Gulf Coast Bank invested in technology with a local touch, giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime.
We're building relationships through personal service as the bank that cares about you.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
To all of our heroes working on the front lines of this COVID-19 pandemic, your bravery and selflessness represent the very best of us, and we want to say thank you. I'm asking everyone around the state to join me in celebrating the heroism of our healthcare professionals on the 19th of every month at 1900 hours, that's 7 p.m. Write a note of appreciation, make plans to donate to charitable organizations, or say a prayer. To learn more, visit 19thanks.org. Thank you, and God bless.
Coming up on Fridays Off the Bench, let's kick off the weekend with some Football Friday. Hunt Palmer and Cole Kublik stop by, breaking down the SEC and LSU. Continue to break down Saints Falcons. Big Fave drops in. Off the Bench, 104.5 ESPN.
Hangin' with Hester and Hanny on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge and 1130 The Tiger.
Today's show brought to you in part by Supreme Rice, supremerice.com. Support our Louisiana farmers down in Crowley in southwest Louisiana. They have had a tough year with some of the storms that have gone through there. Been doing a great job, though, all the way since the 1930s in Crowley with Supreme Rice. All of the rice grown, milled, and processed right there in southwest Louisiana. So if it's for your upcoming Thanksgiving feast, whether you're making rice dressing, whether you're making any kind of dish with rice in it, just a simple rice and gravy, or red beans and rice, or if you're making a jambalaya, for gumbo, any of those things, make it with Supreme Rice. Easy to pick up at any of your Walmarts, any of your Costco's, any of your AG food dealers, whether the brown, the long grain, or the jasmine, they're all available and in the 5-pound bag. So do what we're doing at my house and make it Supreme Rice this holiday season. For more information and great recipes, go to supremerice.com. Okay, so taking a look at the overall record, the overall standings for schedule for BYU. No, a win over Oregon is not enough to do it in my opinion. There's too many blanks on the schedule that I just don't. These are games that you would take away from a Power 5 conference team and say, well, that's just a win. For instance, they played Navy. Navy's 3-4. You wouldn't give any Power 5 team any credit for beating Navy,
Nope.
would you? Would you give them credit for beating Troy?
Nope.
Okay. Troy is 4-3. You get no credit for that. Louisiana Tech. Would you give any credit for beating Louisiana Tech? No. Louisiana Tech is 4-3. How much credit would you give them for beating UTSA?
None.
How much would you give them for Houston? All right. A little bit. Houston's certainly not a bad team, but would you give them a lot of credit?
No.
For beating Houston? I mean, Houston is 4-2. They're okay. Texas State? No. Western Kentucky? No. Boise State? A little bit.
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay. And then they play North Alabama and San Diego State the rest of the way. I mean, I'm sorry. San Diego State's a little bit better. They play some defense at least, but no,
you don't have to apologize. That schedule's trash.
And so you've got a schedule that's just basically Oregon, a little bit of Boise State, and that's it. No, that's
the Boise State schedule from the early 2000s, mid 2000s, where they went on the road for the first week and they played a game, and then they went back and played teams that weren't any good, and then we looked at it at the end and went, I don't think so.
That's not as good as any one-loss team out of the SEC. I don't think it's as good as a one-loss team out of the ACC, really.
Do you think Liberty's resume is better because they've beaten Virginia Tech at Virginia Tech?
Virginia Tech's a better win than Boise State, I think, at this point. So it's a little bit better.
I mean, the rest of their wins are not. Western Kentucky, Florida International, North Alabama, UL Monroe, Syracuse.
You know where I'm stuck, Jake? It's not – the resume doesn't measure up. I can make that argument very easily. I just did. It's when I watch them play, do I think BYU could play with Texas A&M? You betcha.
Yeah.
Do I think Liberty could play with Texas A&M? I do. I mean, I don't know. I'm not saying they would necessarily win for sure, but do I believe that they would be outclassed? I don't.
No.
But I can't put their resume, the teams that they have beaten up, and say, yeah, they deserve it. No, not where I'm sitting. Now, by the time Liberty's done, they may have 3 wins against ACC teams. That's going to trump what BYU has. But I've seen both of those teams play. If BYU played Liberty, I take BYU heads up.
Yeah.
Now, if you're going to give me some points, I'll probably take Liberty because they score a lot. But no, I can't take up for their resume. I mean, I could probably make a better case. I could probably make a better case for Cincinnati than either one.
The Fighting Luke Fickles?
So if they don't make it in this year, a group of 5 team in the current format's never going to make it. Can we
Correct.
agree? Because you have teams in Cincinnati who's number 7 in the country. You've got the number 8 team in BYU. You've got the number 15 team in Marshall, the number 18 team in Coastal Carolina in one poll, 15 in the other. You've got Liberty at 21 and 22, and you've got Tulsa and UL Lafayette who've got losses, so they're out obviously. But this is the most teams that we've seen from the group of 5 that aren't the standard Boise, SMU over the last couple of years. You've got teams that are new to it, but if they don't get in this year, they're never getting in.
And that's okay.
Yep.
When they put together the 4-team playoff, it wasn't it wasn't like playoff camp that everybody gets a chance.
I'm completely okay with it. In fact, I don't want to expand the playoff. We fought so long for 4. We've got 4. Let's let this work itself out just for a little bit before we start going to 8 and 16 and 24 teams and all that. No, we fought a long time to get 4. I'm okay with that. But if I'm a group of 5 school, I'm going off my own.
See, now
Off
here's
on your own where?
To have my own playoff.
And I asked a Louisiana Tech fan this over Memorial Day. I said, would you rather, if you went undefeated and won your league, would you rather go play Central Florida in Miami for the Group of 5 national championship, or would you rather go to Atlanta and play Auburn in the Chick-fil-A Bowl? And he said, I'd rather go play Auburn.
They all
made just try.
They all made that decision quite some time ago. Take a team like Appalachian State. Appalachian State was a contender for the 1AA FCS national championship every year and could still be doing that. Would be the favorites probably. But what did they want to do? They wanted to play in Division I. They wanted to play in the FBS. They made that decision.
I would argue there's a lot more financial implication there than there is. Would you rather win this title or would you rather?
No, that's what I'm saying. They all made the decision that they wanted to be small fish in the big pond. Yeah. App State is the best example I can come up with. They were the big fish in the small pond, and they won multiple national titles, and they could still be doing that. They made the decision, no, we want to go play in the Sun Belt, a Group of 5 conference, because there's going to be more money, but we're not going to win the national championship. We're not going to the Sugar Bowl. We're not going to the Rose Bowl. We're not going to the national championship game.
I would hate that.
If they were realistic, they said that, but
I know not everybody has the opportunity
they had to pay for the new weight room some kind of way.
They don't have the opportunity to play football here or at a big Power 5. I understand that. But, man, I would hate to know that I can't win the biggest trophy. That technically I have a chance to do. I can get in the college football playoff. I'm never going to. As a competitor, that sucks.
If you were a football player,
a Sun Belt title. Oh, thanks. We're going to the New Orleans Bowl.
If you were if you were at App State, would you rather do that or rather go to the FCS playoffs?
I'd rather win championships.
Okay,
that's just me.
It's an FCS championship. Yeah. It's not the biggest trophy. It's the biggest trophy in the smaller division.
But just think about that. Think about being in a profession where you technically could get to the top, but you can't, and you never will. It doesn't matter what you do, unless you schedule Oregon, LSU, Texas non-conference. And then maybe we're having the conversation.
But I brought this up, and no one really cares, but I'll try to put myself in those shoes. In high school, that was my reality. In basketball, we had no chance to win the state championship. None. But it didn't make me care any less about that Tuesday night game against Spring Hill. It was a big deal to me. But we had no chance to go and win the state championship. But you just take the games for what they are, and you play as hard as you can. You win some, you lose some, and at the end, it's over. I don't like it, but it's the reality.
That's not my mentality, but it's fine if that's...
there was no other way. We couldn't.
It's not for me.
It was the French Laundry, by the way.
What?
The restaurant that he went to. It was the French Laundry. It was the name of the restaurant. The Governor of California.
The beginning of the segment.
Oh, gosh. Sorry.
It's actually one segment back.
A long time ago for your boy here. I've moved on, and...
We'll take a break. Bill Bender from the Sporting News is with us in hour number 3. We're brought to you by Richards Honda, home of the warm, fuzzy feeling. Hanging with Hester and Hanny. 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Hangin' with Hester and Hanny.
Someone that's not scared to be the best, that's Garcia Roofing. They are the best, and they've been doing it for 28 years. LSU 100 fastest growing Tiger businesses for the second year in a row. No gimmicks. There's no gimmicks with Garcia. You know exactly what you're getting because when you call them for that free roof inspection, they give you an itemized list of exactly what you need, what it's going to take to get your roof back. They show you pictures. They show you exactly where you're going to need the improvements. They did it for me. They saved me thousands of dollars because they were so detailed and they were going to do what they had to do, not just the bare minimum.
Every project on time, on budget, and with the best quality work possible. So whether it's roof repair, roof replacement, roof cleaning, or commercial roofing, call Garcia Roof. 756-3100 here in Baton Rouge, on Baton Rouge, New Orleans, on the North Shore, and in Lafayette. Roof now and pay later with GarciaDidMyRoof.com.
Our listeners fire off their opinions on the JimsFirearms.net hotline at 499-1045. Keep listening for your next chance to shoot us your thoughts with the JimsFirearms.net hotline on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
This isn't just another day. It's so much more. Kelly's life was put on hold when her Auctioner primary care doctor discovered a rare blood disorder. Her doctor connected her to an Auctioner care team of cancer, heart, and kidney specialists. With multiple primary care locations around Baton Rouge, same-day appointments, and online scheduling, we're relentless about keeping you healthy. Auctioner Baton Rouge, innovating healthcare for Kelly.
T-Bob Hebert here with breaking news. Front to Back Boat Services is the shop to upgrade your boat tech this fall. With not one but 2 NMEA certified techs, who better to install your Panoptic sonar, your HD displays. You want to see the fish under the water before you even cast? They have that. Trolling motor you could control with your iPhone? They have that. So what are you waiting for? Get into Front to Back Boat Services right now. Upgrade your boat tech. Make your boating dreams come true. Front to Back Boat Services.
If I built a van, it would do more than haul.
It would carry my entire business. I'd make it available in dozens, if not thousands of configurations.
It would keep an eye on my fleet.
And an eye out for danger.
If I built a van, I'd make it available in diesel and gas. And I'd build it right here in South Carolina.
Introducing the all-new Sprinter, starting at $33,790. Built in the USA. Mercedes-Benz. Vans. Born to run.
You may not know about the 4Kids Foundation, but you've probably heard of the Zurich Classic. And the Zurich Classic exists because of 4Kids. But it's what happens after the tournament that really counts. 100% of the proceeds are donated by the 4Kids Foundation to hundreds of local charities, totaling more than $40 million, all to help local children and families in need. 4Kids helps kids through golf, because every child deserves a shot at a brighter future.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is a local bank with a straightforward philosophy.
It's about doing the right thing for our customers.
Participating in our community with annual local fundraisers, offering individual attention in a modern banking atmosphere with a trusted local company. Gulf Coast Bank invested in technology with a local touch, giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime.
We're building relationships through personal service as the bank that cares about you.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
At All-Star Toyota, you get it all. If you're in the market for an all-new Toyota vehicle, come see our friendly and knowledgeable sales team at All-Star Toyota. Located in Baton Rouge at the corner of Airline and Goodwood, we've been serving our community since 2005 by offering a large selection of new Toyota cars, trucks, and SUVs. Get behind the wheel of your dream car and take a test drive at All-Star Toyota today.
Tune in Friday night for a full night of prep football coverage. It all starts at 6 with Louisiana Prep Preview. Catholic High and Woodlawn kick off at 7. And we wrap things up with a full 2 hours of the Louisiana Prep Scoreboard at 10 on YouTube, CST, and 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Hangin with Hester and Hanny on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge and 1130 The Tiger.
We're brought to you by Richard's Honda, home of the warm and fuzzy feeling. Hunt, Jacob's worried that the Pelicans have too many point guards, but you know about the latest one that they got because Hoops with Hunt's about to start.
It's starting
again,
next
right?
week.
Okay. LSU starts next
week
against San Francisco. In fact, I think we will be on for the first half of their first game. And a couple of teams had to punch out of that tournament.
They did, but LSU, the teams LSU's playing, as you would expect, are good. I mean, you'll look at them and go, they'll kill them. No, they got a couple of good teams they're playing.
But for the moment, let's talk about Kira Lewis.
Yeah, I was. Last night is officially when I lose track of all the basketball players I know, because I follow the SEC obviously close enough to do the podcast and watch LSU play. Once they get to the NBA, I kind of lose track. But I have a sense of the guys that are available, and certainly have seen a lot of Kira Lewis over the last couple of years. He's the fastest point guard in baseline to baseline in the SEC since De'Aaron Fox. And my sources tell me he's been pretty good in the NBA, Fox.
Sacramento,
yeah. So, I mean, that's a skill that you can't teach. And when you look at where they were, there were some, you would think that you've kind of got your core pieces if you're the Pelicans. You're looking to add some things to that. And then Nesmith would have been the shooter. I mean, he's a really, really top-end shooter that would space the floor and shoot the ball that way. Kira Lewis is a decent shooter. We know in Nato's system at Alabama, they were going to try to run fast with Kira Lewis and go, or they were going to probably shoot threes with Lewis and Petty and the rest of those guys. But Lewis is fast. So if you're given between those two guys, Nesmith's never going to be the fastest guy on the floor. Lewis might become a really good shooter. So you've drafted the thing that you can't teach, that you've already got, and you hope that he becomes a really good scorer. So I think it makes sense. You've got Ingram as a guy who can really score it in the half court. Of course, you've got Zion who can do a lot of different things. You figure Lonzo is going to run the point here, and you've got some more guards. Lewis has something that he brings to the table that some other guys can't do. And when you talk about you have to worry every time he gets the ball about getting back and stopping him from getting right to the rim for a layup. And that takes eyes off of Ingram. It takes eyes off of Zion. It takes eyes off of some guys that are on the floor. So I understand what they were trying to do with the pick. The other thing that really makes a lot of sense is how young he is and how much basketball he's played. Because he was so young when he finished high school and so young when he started playing college, you've still got a very, very young piece to add to a young core that has a skill that you can't teach. So, I think it was a nice selection. I went back and looked at the numbers just because I knew we might want to talk about it, because I like Tyrese Maxey a lot, Kentucky's guard who was on the board. He went a good bit later, but I like him a lot. They were in such different systems. Calipari wants them to shoot a three if it's wide open, maybe, but he wants those guys all the time, go to the rim, go to the rim, go to the rim, because I've got guys who can put it back in always if you don't make it. So the system was so different that you didn't see what Max could do shooting the basketball as much as Lewis. I like Maxey a lot. Lewis probably further along at this point.
David Griffin on his first-round pick.
Kira Lewis is somebody that we paid a great deal of attention to all season long. We've been a very large fan of his game for quite some time. And as we went through the draft process and learned more of who he was as a human being, we were very, very confident that he fits everything that we care most about from a character standpoint and from a way that he approaches the game, his work rate. Everything about him really speaks to who we want to be from a DNA standpoint.
And Trajan Langdon.
I think the one thing that we talked to Kira about, and one question we asked him is, what's the most joy that you get out of playing? And he said, like I discussed earlier, getting paint touches and making other people better. So we have a lot of shooting on the team. If that kid can get some paint touches, spray out to shooters or throw lobs or make other people better, dump offs, that's what he wants to do. And with his elite speed and transition or even in the half court, that's one thing that we're very intrigued that he can do for us.
Somebody asked earlier, kick it out to who? Pelicans were the 7th best three-point shooting team in the league last year. Now, Holiday takes some of that out the door with him, I understand, but George Hill was the top three-point shooter, if he sticks around with the team, was the top three-point shooter percentage-wise in the NBA a year ago. So there's guys to kick it out to, believe me. I think there's some upside with this pick. There's an awful lot of upside with this pick. I don't expect him to pay immediate dividends. Right. I don't expect him to play early very much at all. But long term, I think there's some real upside.
And I heard you use this term in the first hour, and it's certainly one that applies. He's an asset. I mean, he is absolutely an asset because he's got two things on his side that you can't teach. He's got speed and he's got youth, and those are hot commodities.
Hester thinks he needs to be a foot taller.
He's not a foot. He's not.
Not just him. Somebody
taller.
needs to be a foot taller. Not just him. There's 4 guys. One of the 4 needs to be a foot taller.
Those guys are hard to come by.
They are, but I don't want them to get in a situation where they have so many good point guards. Zion hopefully doesn't, but we've seen him miss time. And then where's your production at the 4? Because BI is a 3. Now he can play a 4, but that's not where you want him to live. So you mentioned it. Yes, you have free agency, but it's tipping in 6 weeks. Okay, so you've got, if you go and you get somebody to back up Zion, or even to be someone who starts at the center position, okay, well, I'm good then. That makes it look a little bit better. But
what if you went with the same 2 guys you had last year? What if you went with Favors and Hayes?
I still think Hayes has a little bit to go.
He does. He absolutely does.
And Favors, injured.
You don't want
to get an injury history.
I know you hate this and you're not wired this way, and I love it about you, but I am a little bit. And it's okay if there's a hole in this roster next year. We're working towards something here, and if we don't have that one piece this year, you know what? We might lose some games. It sucks, but it's part of it. And I'm in the race to win the whole thing, and winning the whole thing.
Use the word, Hunt.
Win the championship.
No. Use the word.
I don't know what word I'm looking for.
Process.
It's part of the process.
Part of the process.
You gotta accumulate assets, and when you're time to push off the dock, you got to make sure your roster's tightened up. But this ain't it for the Pelicans.
You ain't tanking. It's just part of the process. Take a break here. Hanging with Hester and Hanny is brought to you by Richard's Honda, home of the warm and fuzzy feeling. 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Hanging with Hester and Hanny.
Our friends over at Tiger Air are an independent dealer of the American Standard Heating and Air Conditioning System. You know what? One of the best days was after I put in the American Standard at my home was that first energy bill that I got afterwards. This is lower than what I'm used to. So I went back and looked it up, and sure enough, it was lower than what I had remembered from the same month the previous year. And it just continued month after month after month. I'm saving money. I'm in the same house. I'm using the same amount of energy I usually would, but I've got a better system here because of its efficiency and because of the programmable thermostat.
Saving money, obviously important anytime, but especially in this year. That's why you're needing to be a part of the Comfort Assurance Protection Plan, discounts on parts and labor. You're going to get lower utility bills like Hanny's talking about. You're going to get discounts on emergency and priority service. And, of course, you're going to get increased equipment life as well. Visit them at tiger-air.com.
We opened up the playbook and expanded our coverage. Listen daily in high definition on 98.1 HD2. We are 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals. But many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
Are you a licensed contractor? There's lots of good contractors in Louisiana doing work the right way, but unfortunately, too many unlicensed contractors are working outside the licensing requirements. Working as a contractor in Louisiana requires a license for the company doing the work. The Louisiana State Licensing Board for Contractors wants to help you get licensed to allow you to conduct work legally. It's not difficult to get the license. We can help you. Go to lacontractor.org for more information. Licensed contractors, it's the law.
This is a house call. This is a follow-up appointment. This is a diabetes checkup. This isn't just more convenient care, it's more advanced care. This is innovating healthcare at Louisiana's #1 hospital, Ochsner.
ServiceMaster Elite create clean, disinfected work environments. As a local business, we take pride in serving the New Orleans and Baton Rouge areas. Our cleaning protocols follow CDC and OSHA standards for healthcare settings, offices, senior living, restaurants, and industrial plants. Contact ServiceMaster Elite to get your operation ready for reopening with germ disinfection cleaning. ServiceMaster Elite, the trusted choice in professional cleaning since 1996.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is a local bank with a straightforward philosophy.
It's about doing the right thing for our customers.
Participating in our community with annual local fundraisers, offering individual attention in a modern banking atmosphere with a trusted local company. Gulf Coast Bank invested in technology with a local touch, giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime.
We're building relationships through personal service as the bank that cares about you.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank.
Hey, it's Matt Moscona inviting you to join us for a Thursday edition of AFR presented by the Aesthetic Medicine and Anti-Aging Clinics of Louisiana. Full hour of football talk with Mike Detillier. Ryan Clark joins us, our Fantasy Blitz. You join us as well, 3 to 6, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Hangin with Hester and Hanny on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge and 1130 The Tiger.
Hunt, tell us what you didn't bring for lunch today.
I'm not bringing y'all any food until BYU's in the playoff. How about that?
We're going to be hungry.
Hungry Howie's bringing you Hanging with Hester, Hanny, and Hunt every Tuesday and Thursday. I always tell you about the delicious flavored crust pizza, but what about the wings over at Hungry Howie's? They got a flavor for everybody. They got the original Howie wings, just delicious flavor there. If you got a sweet tooth, they got the barbecue Howie wings. They got the buffalo Howie wings. They got a tangy Asian wing sauce, and if you need some heat in your life, they've got the sriracha Howie wings with a spicy sriracha sauce. You can get all those boneless if that's your deal. Get an 8-piece for under $10. You can get a 16-piece for $16.50 over there at Hungry Howie's. So make them part of your football watching weekend. You can get the Hungry Howie's app, set your delivery time, set your pickup time. Your food will be hot and ready for you right there. You can go to hungryhowies.com, do the same thing, or you can just stop by the store, Nicholson, just south of LSU's campus right there at Lee. Hungry Howie's, bringing you Hanging with Hester, Hanny, and Hunt Tuesdays and Thursdays.
Hungry Howie's.
Great job, guys.
Yeah,
Well done.
That was tandem. That was nice.
LSU plays Arkansas on Saturday at
Yeah.
11 o'clock. We hope, we think, as of right now, they do. So what do you think?
Watched a lot of Arkansas last night, looked at a lot of numbers, and the numbers basically tell me kind of what I thought it would tell me. Arkansas is not really good at anything. They're not really bad at anything. They are a mediocre football team, and that is a huge step up from what they were, and that's what they are. And so I think that Felipe Franks has done a nice job of managing the offense. The thing that catches my eye with their offense, they have some legitimate playmakers. And the one that scares me the most is Davion Warren. He's actually from Ouachita, up there in the Monroe area. And he's small, but they get him the ball in these jet sweeps and these screens, and they stretch the field with him some on some wheel routes. He can make some plays for sure. They've got 3 wide receivers that can do it. Franks is not lighting the world on fire. He's thrown for over 200 yards in every game, but he hadn't made any huge mistakes. And on defense, it was really interesting kind of to see what they were doing. And the game plan changed week to week. When I watched them play Florida and Mississippi State, they almost exclusively rushed 3 in those games. Against Mississippi State, they knew that was the way they could win, and they got 3 interceptions, all dropping 8 into coverage. Then against Kyle Trask, I think they were just scared, and they said, we got to play in a bubble. They rushed 3 the whole game, and, of course, he lit them up because they just can't keep up with that. But I think against Auburn, they brought some more pressure, and I think against TJ Finley and freshman quarterbacks for LSU, they'll be a little bit more aggressive than they were in those
I can take one of your worries away. Warren did tear his ACL against Florida.
Did he?
Yeah.
I didn't know that. See? That's not on the highlight tape. Then I'm not worried
Takes
about
one of
that.
his worries away.
I would have gotten that on the game notes tonight. But
How many worries do you have now?
So I have a lot of
that
worries.
brings
LSU's
you-
football team. Not many of them have to do with Arkansas.
I can tell you
That's a bummer for him. God, he was.
It is. He
playing
was.
good.
He was playing well. Traylon Smith is my biggest worry, and it's not Rakeem Boyd, who came into the season with all the fanfare.
Last
and
chance
he should,
you.
and he should have. Rakeem Boyd is. I still think is going to play in the NFL and be a starter potentially in the NFL. But Traylon Smith is averaging 5.7 yards a carry with home run ability. He hit a home run against Florida. He's done it multiple times, and he's kind of taken over from the starting spot now. Boyd's going to be out there in the first play of the game, but Traylon Smith's the starter right now. He's getting the plays when it matters, and I'm telling you, he can go 83 in a hurry. Like Rakeem Boyd, his longest run on the year, 16 yards. That's who he is. That's what he is. Okay. LSU has shown they will give up the big play in the run game and to guys catching the ball out of the backfield, and he worries me because he can run a rail route, a wheel, any way you want him to run down that sideline free, and he's fast. That's the guy to pay attention to.
I saw a couple wheel routes that jumped off, and what they do is they fake the slip, the little slip screen under. He pumps it and try to get somebody to come up, and then they wheel it over the top, and they've hit it a couple times this year. And that immediately jumps off the page to me, and I'm going, oh, well, we've been terrible against
That's
that.
what Hanny and I were talking about on Tiger Zone last night. They will lull you to sleep going sideways. They'll throw the nows. They'll throw the jailbreaks. They'll throw all the bubbles. They'll do all that, but they're only doing it to set up the big play over your head. And they do it as well as anybody. They really do. Because they do it so much, you have to respect it. And Felipe Franks, we know he has the arm to throw it down the field and be accurate. He throws the 45-yard pass probably better than he does the 12-yard pass. Some quarterbacks are like that. Some are just more accurate when they're throwing the deep ball, and he's one of them.
I'll tell you what they're worried about in that building, because I was in there last night interviewing Bill Bush for the pregame show, and this is on the taped interview, so it's not off the record or anything. The Arkansas tempo. Now, obviously, Kendall Briles is from that tree, and they want to go quickly. He said they go fast. And now it doesn't strike fear in you as an LSU fan when he says this, but this is what he said. It's the team that goes the fastest since we played Utah State last year. Now, Utah State didn't have any players, so they can't really go fast. You never get a first down, but they're concerned with the tempo on Saturday.
Isn't tempo something that everybody's building into their attacks now anyway? Isn't that the norm? Aren't there more teams going tempo than not?
There definitely is.
So this is something you should be working on pretty much every week.
You should work on it. Obviously, like anything, teams do it better than others.
Okay, I'll buy that.
There's teams that, last year when LSU wanted to go fast offensively, there wasn't a team that went as fast or was as good at making sure they were in the right play. Not all tempo is created equal. It's not, but you should be ready for a version of it every game you play. Missouri was really good at it. Mizzou got up on the ball extremely fast.
I would think that this would be a built-in part of your prep every week. Hey, we're going to work on third down. Hey, we're going to work on goal line. Hey, we're going to work on tempo, because everybody's got it.
Yep.
And that's why LSU's kind of gone defensively to the call is the call. It's not. There's not a lot. It's
the end of November. It's the end of November. I'm
with you on this.
I'm with you too.
No, I know you guys are. I'm not fussing at you, but I'm sort of weary of hearing we got to get lined up right. We got to get in the right stance. We got to make a basic call. I mean, it's the 6th playing date, but it's the 10th playing week.
You want to get somebody going on that? Talk to one of my co-hosts on the postgame show, Brandon Taylor. Not crazy about it. And you know what position that guy played on the field. He does not understand.
Yeah, I don't either. It's got to be a want to. To learn to swim, you got to want to get wet.
I mean,
right?
We played the clip. I want to play the clip one more time. This was Coach O. Was this after practice? No, this was the teleconference yesterday.
Yeah, simplifying and playing within the scheme of the defense, really working on stance, alignment, assignment, technique, being in the right place, being in the right time, making the right calls, finding out if our guys can make these adjustments. If they can't, we're not going to make them. We've practiced for the last 2 weeks the things that hurt us, which is a lot. And but there are some concepts that have given us problems, and we're trying to eliminate those problem concepts.
I hear a frustrated football coach, and rightfully so, and I hear a quote that should have come out of the second week of camp.
Yeah, you're not going to get an argument from me.
I know.
It's
If you got a concept that you can't execute, that's the kind of stuff you find out in August. Hey, coach, we can't run this, man. We don't have the personnel to run this. They're not grasping it. They're not comfortable with it. Okay, junk that concept. We're gonna leave that out. Offense, defense, special teams, whatever it is. You don't get that quote in November, man. You just don't. Or if you do, you're in a little bit of trouble.
In a situation where you can't stop
Yeah,
anybody.
you're in a little bit of trouble. Hunt, safe travels.
See y'all later.
Bill Bender when we come back, hanging with Hester and Hanny, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Hangin' with Hester and Hanny.
At All Star Toyota, you get it all. If you're in the market for an all-new Toyota vehicle, come see our friendly and knowledgeable sales team at All Star Toyota. Located in Baton Rouge at the corner of Airline and Goodwood, we've been serving our community since 2005 by offering a large selection of new Toyota cars, trucks, and SUVs. Get behind the wheel of your dream car and take a test drive at All Star Toyota today.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is a local bank with a straightforward philosophy.
It's about doing the right thing for our customers.
Participating in our community with annual local fundraisers, offering individual attention in a modern banking atmosphere with a trusted local company. Gulf Coast Bank invested in technology with a local touch, giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime.
We're building relationships through personal service as the bank that cares about you.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
This is a house call. This is a follow-up appointment. This is a diabetes checkup. This isn't just more convenient care, it's more advanced care. This is innovating healthcare at Louisiana's #1 hospital, Ochsner.
ServiceMaster Elite create clean, disinfected work environments. As a local business, we take pride in serving the New Orleans and Baton Rouge areas. Our cleaning protocols follow CDC and OSHA standards for healthcare settings, offices, senior living, restaurants, and industrial plants. Contact ServiceMaster Elite to get your operation ready for reopening with germ disinfection cleaning. ServiceMaster Elite, the trusted choice in professional cleaning since 1996.
To the heroes who are working tirelessly to care for our communities, we thank you. We will never forget the countless hours you dedicated on the front lines, choosing to risk your own health to fight for our friends, neighbors, and family members.
I mean, you guys are out on the front lines fighting it.
We are grateful for your heroic acts and unwavering spirit. Together, we are overcoming this adversity and make our state healthier and more vibrant again. Ochsner Health.
Are you a licensed contractor? There's lots of good contractors in Louisiana doing work the right way, but unfortunately, too many unlicensed contractors are working outside the licensing requirements. Working as a contractor in Louisiana requires a license for the company doing the work. The Louisiana State Licensing Board for
Callahan Injury Lawyers.
This is SportsCenter.
I'm Christine Lisi. Breaking news, the 2020-2021 NBA season is over for Klay Thompson even before a game is played. ESPN's Adrian Wojnarowski reporting the Warriors guard suffered a season-ending torn right Achilles during yesterday's workout. He's been told to expect he'll make a full recovery. Thompson missed this past season with a torn left ACL. Crucial NFC West matchup kicking off Week 11, Seahawks-Cardinals. After a 5-0 start to the season, Seattle slumping, has lost 3 of 4, is tied with Arizona and the Rams for the division lead. If the Seahawks don't straighten out their defense, they won't make a deep playoff run, according to ESPN's Damian Woody.
When you get to the latter part of the season, in the postseason, you have to bring some semblance of a defense. You got to be able to make stops in the postseason. And the way the Seattle Seahawks are playing right now, it's just not happening. I mean, you were putting it lightly. They can't stop a nosebleed on defense right now.
Damian Woody with Keyshawn Johnson, Jay Williams, and Zubin Mehenti. Pac-12 will allow non-conference football games to be played this season if they meet the conference's testing and safety-related protocols for COVID-19. Pac-12 teams must be the host site for the games.
We're back on Friday with the latest on Klay Thompson. How much will Thompson's injury impact the Warriors' plans in free agency, which starts Friday? Keyshawn, J. Will, and Zubin, 6 Eastern on ESPN Radio.
Now, Hangin with Hester and Hanny with Jacob Hester and Charles Hannegriff. Hester and Hanny on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge and 1130 The Tiger. Alongside Jacob Hester, here's Charles Hannegriff.
Hour number 3, Hanging with Hester and Hanny, presented by Richard's Honda, home of the warm and fuzzy feeling. Along with Jacob Hester, I'm Charles Hannegriff. Cade and Danny on the audio and video boards today, and we're joined by Bill Bender of the Sporting News. Bill, good afternoon. How are you?
Hey, good morning. Thanks for having me on.
Monster matchup in the Big Ten, Indiana and BYU. This is not the game we usually point towards. It's Michigan, Ohio State. It's Penn State, Ohio State. It's Michigan, Michigan State. It's certainly not Indiana and Ohio State, but the Hoosiers have proven their worth. What do you think their chances are? They're a top 10 team that's a 3-touchdown underdog roughly going into this game.
Yeah, I mean, they'd have to play a perfect game. They're going to have to run the ball better than they usually do. Michael Penix Jr. is going to have to be borderline perfect, and they're going to have to find a way to get to Justin Fields and make him make some mistakes. And I'm saying all those things, not trying to, I guess, just say that what Indiana has done is lessen the impact of that. They've had a fantastic season. They're just up against something completely different in Ohio State. It takes a perfect game to win that game. The stat I've been pointing to all week is Ohio State's 12-0 against ranked Big Ten teams the last 3 years. I mean, the beat goes on in a lot of ways.
Bill, are you as surprised as we are in the fact that you've got 3 teams behind Ohio State in Indiana, Wisconsin, and Northwestern that are as good as they are at this point? Because we all expected it to be other teams. Penn State and let's throw Michigan and Minnesota in there might have been those 3 teams. But I don't think it's gimmicky. I think Indiana and Northwestern are kind of the ones that aren't typically there. I think they're just really good football teams that have improved, and it's not anything that other teams have done. It's about what they've done to improve.
Yeah, for sure. I still think Wisconsin's the second-best team, assuming they can get through the season without another COVID outbreak, because they're a little bit different, too, with Graham Mertz at quarterback. So, yeah, but to your point, Indiana and Northwestern certainly have maximized their talent. Well,
Bill Bender from the Sport. Yeah, okay. Sorry,
I thought we lost you for a second. Yeah.
Bill Bender from the Sporting News is our guest. Bill, earlier today, the Pac-12 allowed its member institutions to schedule non-conference games if they lose a game in the conference to COVID. Now, the Pac-12, when it comes to football, usually doesn't jump unless first the Big Ten says frog. So in this case, they've actually taken the lead. You think the Big Ten will have any response to this? They've certainly lost their fair amount of games.
Maybe. I don't know. I mean, we're dealing with Ohio in particular. Something to keep an eye on over the next couple of days is Franklin County just went to and that's where Columbus went to the highest level of COVID threat in the state. So there's a lot of talk about possible lockdowns here, and we'll see what it means for Ohio State football. But it's definitely getting a little dicey up here in general. So I don't know if they'll go to that measure. I think they're just going to try to get the next couple weeks in and see if we can go from there.
We started talking about, them allowing a non-conference game, and obviously our attention went to BYU because they're out west, because they're trying to build the best resume they possibly can to get into the college football playoff discussion. And it seems like this is probably the one team that can benefit the most from the Pac-12 allowing them to play non-conference games.
Yeah, they squeeze in another game. Heck, BYU might be able to play like 13 games at this point.
Yeah.
They're doing the best they can, and you got to applaud their athletic director for putting that schedule together and for them to be able to do that. And I saw a suggestion maybe they could play Utah in the last week of the season, and Utah's the only FBS team playing that hasn't played yet. So it really is just a lot of logistical hurdles to clear, and I don't think that's going to go away here over the last 4 weeks. In fact, it'll probably continue to intensify.
Let me ask you about Cincinnati, another team that's pretty close to where you are. Where do they fit into all of this, since we're having the discussion about non-Power 5 teams?
I mean, if they continue to win, they'll have a chance. They're probably a better bet than BYU just because their schedule is a little bit tougher. They beat Memphis. They beat SMU. They get Central Florida this week on the road. That ought to be a fun game. I think it'll be a chippy game too. But, yeah, I think Luke Fickell's built a solid program there. And this has really been the story that we've gone this deep into the season, and there's 21 unbeaten teams left. And typically at this point in the season in November, there's like 6 or 7. So that's just a product of the conference-only scheduling. It's also a product of that there's some pretty good teams out there.
Now, when we start talking about a group of 5 teams getting into the college football playoff, obviously you start to say, okay, what names are ahead of them? How do they get into the CFP? What teams have to lose? Because you've kind of got some teams that you think are givens to be there. But what about a team like Texas A&M? Texas A&M, to me, well, they've probably got the easiest path because they're not going to play in the SEC championship game, but they could still finish 9-1, and their resume is probably going to stand out. Does a 9-1 Texas A&M to you trump a team in Cincinnati or BYU or Coastal or any of these other group of 5 teams if they go undefeated?
It'll be close, but I mean, the argument they won't have is they lost to Alabama by 28 points and they didn't win a conference championship. And right now they need to play some games because they've had, I believe, back-to-back games canceled. So they've got to get to that 9-1 and give them a reason to do that. But certainly a good team. Beat Florida and would have a chance. But to answer your question, like at least what I think is going to happen, I think it's going to be hard in the current setup for 2 SEC teams to get in unless Florida beats Alabama.
Bill Bender from the Sporting News is our guest. This is a little bit off the path, but you think Urban Meyer wants to coach again?
Maybe. With him, you never know. He is a hyper successful coach. He's obviously had some unceremonious exits from at least Florida. I mean, Ohio State, they were able to kind of go out on his terms in some ways and not on bad terms considering how they won at the end. Texas would be interesting if it happened, if it came to that. USC would be interesting because I just know that they would win big. The thing that leads me to believe that might not happen is he's pretty awesome in the studio too. So, I mean, that's an easier job than coaching in theory because you're not out recruiting all the time.
All right, Bill, we've gone 9 minutes, and I haven't asked you about the Michigan Wolverines. I think that's the longest we've ever gone because it's just I know you're dialed into it, and there's always something. And they got embarrassed last time out. In fact, this season for them has been embarrassing because they had different expectations like they do every year, but they felt like it was going to be different this year. What do you make of the situation, and do you think anything happens there?
Well, I mean, I think, again, that's kind of like your Urban question that if Harbaugh leaves, I think it'd be on his terms on some level. they may pressure him to leave, but he may just go to the NFL and do it that way. Or he could stay for another year and just chalk this year up to COVID. The most glaring thing with them right now is the quarterback play and the effort. The effort wasn't there against Wisconsin. And the quarterback play, same thing with Penn State. I mean, I could record this answer and press replay, and I'd probably be the same thing I'd say about Penn State right now. The biggest thing watching those two teams play is they don't have a dynamic quarterback, and they get some yards, but the effort isn't there in some places.
Bill, Bedlam this weekend in Norman, Oklahoma. This is usually one of the more entertaining games of the year. So do you expect that we'll have a high-scoring game once again? And does it matter because the Big 12 has sort of fallen back?
It is going to be a fun game. I think there's a lot of pressure on Mike Gundy. As I pointed out, I had to look this up, double-check it, triple-check it. Not only have they lost 5 in a row, the Sooners, he's 2-13 against Oklahoma. That's an unbelievable stat to me in some ways, knowing how long he's been there, knowing that he's had some success, but that the Sooners have been able to run that rivalry for that long. And I think Oklahoma's going to win that one again. And here we are, a team that we buried after 2 losses. I don't think they're going to get in the playoffs, but if you said, if either one of you said, hey, Oklahoma's going to win the Big 12, I'd probably co-sign that right now the way they're playing.
All right, I want to finish it up with one last Big Ten question. And, Bill, we always appreciate your time, and I always appreciate you going across the map in college football with us. Rondale Moore for Purdue, he opted back in. We have yet to see him. Does he come back this week against Minnesota?
Hopefully. I mean, I'd love to see him play a couple games. He's so exciting to watch. And, Purdue had a tough loss there to Northwestern last week, but if you get him in there for a couple games, it'd be nice to see. Minnesota's been another team that's been really disappointing in the Big Ten. The Big Ten's hard to break down, guys, because everything we put at the beginning of the year got flipped, and here we are, like you said, Indiana, Ohio State, Northwestern, Wisconsin. It's a fun doubleheader.
2-13, Bill. 2-13 is Mike Gundy's record in the Bedlam series against the Sooners. So you were correct. Hester, you say I never say anything nice about Les Miles. Les won that many in 4 years.
Well, you need to start because
as
soon as we hung up with Bill, I was going to let you know that.
Cade, make a drop, okay? Les Miles won as many games against Oklahoma in 4 years as Gundy has in 15.
Okay.
There.
That's wild.
For the record.
That is the wildest stat I've seen this week that I just kind of looked at it. I was like, that can't be right. And then, now that I know that, it's one reason why I think that Gundy and Oklahoma State, it just seems like every year we talk about whether he'll be there the next year.
Some of those games have been really, really close, including a 1-point loss 2 years ago and an overtime loss in 2012 that ended up 51-48. One of those big track meets. So, Bill, enjoy the football weekend. We'll talk to you next week.
Hey, sounds good. Thanks so much, guys. Take care.
Bill Bender from the Sporting News.
I'd like you to know that Les did win a national title and play for another. He did coach in the NFL. Right? He did win some games at Oklahoma State to be able to get the job at LSU. Now, I can't speak on what he's doing in Kansas. I don't think Bear Bryant and Tom Landry coming back could help Kansas.
See, it's not that I've never said anything nice about Les. It's that I acknowledge that there were some shortcomings there. This is something that you sometimes have a problem acknowledging. So
I don't have a problem acknowledging. We'll just give credit where credit's due.
And I think I've done that. I did the post game after the 2007 game. I remember it very well. It was I was down in New Orleans. I think you were there.
I was.
While I was doing, if I remember correctly, I think you told me while I was hard at work doing a post-game show, you were signing with an agent and drinking champagne, right?
I wasn't drinking champagne. I mean, I'm a grown man. I was probably drinking whiskey.
Okay. Well, thank you. Thank you.
Cade.
Sponsor drop. The aftermath of championship games sometimes includes champagne. That's why I was bringing that up.
Okay.
Today's show brought to you in part by Louisiana Health and Injury Centers with 4 locations, helping you deal with pain from injuries and auto accidents, injuries from old sports injuries. Sometimes you're just getting a little bit older and you get muscle or ligament strains, some neck or back discomfort. Let them ease your pain and suffering. through a series of exercises and stretches or techniques like dry needling, electric nerve stimulation, ultrasound, or cryotherapy. It can ease your pain and suffering at 4 different locations: 13406 Airline Highway, 2832 Plank Road, 467 Oak Plaza Boulevard in Bruley, and on Jefferson Highway near Drusilla, with easy access from both I-10 and I-12. Louisiana Health and Injury Center's Dr. Michael Gaub. Take a break. Hanging with Hester and Hanny, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Hangin' with Hester and Hanny.
Football is back. Tune in Sunday for a full day of NFL coverage starting at noon with the Titans-Ravens, followed by Cowboys-Vikings at 3:25 and Chiefs-Raiders at 7:20. Then, Monday night, the Buccaneers host the Rams. The NFL lives on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Hello?
What's up, E? What you doing?
Chilling at the office working. You?
Hanging at the job site. Chilling.
Roof's up?
Hey, Greg, roof up? Roof's up. Roof's up.
Roof's up.
Roof's up?
Roof's up.
Roof's up! Roof's up! Beautiful roof every single time.
True. True.
Our local nonprofits help build a thriving community for all, and now it's time for us to give back. So join us for 225 Gives on Giving Tuesday, December 1st, to build community and unite action. Learn more at 225gives.org.
Are you a licensed contractor? There's lots of good contractors in Louisiana doing work the right way, but unfortunately, too many unlicensed contractors are working outside the licensing requirements. Working as a contractor in Louisiana requires a license for the company doing the work. The Louisiana State Licensing Board for Contractors wants to help you get licensed to allow you to conduct work legally. It's not difficult to get the license. We can help you. Go to lacontractor.org for more information. Licensed contractors, it's the law.
If I built a van, it would do more than haul.
It would carry my entire business. I'd make it available in dozens, if not thousands of configurations.
It would keep an eye on my fleet.
And an eye out for danger.
If I built a van, I'd make it available in diesel and gas. And I'd build it right here in South Carolina.
Introducing the all-new Sprinter, starting at $33,790. Built in the USA. Mercedes-Benz. Vans. Born to run.
You may not know about the 4Kids Foundation, but you've probably heard of the Zurich Classic. And the Zurich Classic exists because of 4Kids. But it's what happens after the tournament that really counts. 100% of the proceeds are donated by the 4Kids Foundation to hundreds of local charities, totaling more than $40 million, all to help local children and families in need. 4Kids helps kids through golf, because every child deserves a shot at a brighter future.
This isn't just another day. It's so much more. Kelly's life was put on hold when her auctioneer primary care doctor discovered a rare blood disorder. Her doctor connected her to an auctioneer care team of cancer, heart, and kidney specialists. With multiple primary care locations around Baton Rouge, same-day appointments, and online scheduling, we're relentless about keeping you healthy. Auctioneer Baton Rouge, innovating healthcare for Kelly.
At All-Star Toyota, you get it all. If you're in the market for an all-new Toyota vehicle, come see our friendly and knowledgeable sales team at All-Star Toyota. Located in Baton Rouge at the corner of Airline and Goodwood, we've been serving our community since 2005 by offering a large selection of new Toyota cars, trucks, and SUVs. Get behind the wheel of your dream car and take a test drive at All-Star Toyota today.
To all of our heroes working on the front lines of this COVID-19 pandemic, your bravery and selflessness represent the very best of us, and we want to say thank you. I'm asking everyone around the state to join me in celebrating the heroism of our healthcare professionals on the 19th of every month at 1900 hours, that's 7 p.m. Write a note of appreciation, make plans to donate to charitable organizations, or say a prayer. To learn more, visit 19thanks.org. Thank you, and God bless.
Coming up on Fridays Off the Bench, let's kick off the weekend with some Football Friday. Hunt Palmer and Cole Kublik stop by, breaking down the SEC and LSU. Continue to break down Saints-Falcons. Big Fave drops in. Off the bench, 104.5 ESPN.
Hangin' with Hester and Hanny on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge and 1130 The Tiger.
We're brought to you by Richards Honda, home of the warm and fuzzy feeling. Saints and the Falcons on Sunday. This will be a noon start in the Superdome. It'll be the first of two games that the Saints will play against Atlanta over a 3-week period. Dan Quinn is gone, launched after an 0-5 start. Raheem Morris took over as the head coach, and the Falcons have shown signs of life. They beat the Vikings, they beat the Panthers, they beat the Broncos, and they lost in a 1-point heartbreaker against the Lions in a game that, frankly, they should have won had they played it a little bit. Two things they could have won that game. Everybody's going to point to Todd Gurley, should have fallen down. They kicked the field goal and they win. But the defense didn't have to let Detroit go the length of the field. So they're 3-1. Could have been 4-0 under Raheem Morris. And Sean Payton talked about the differences under Morris as opposed to under Dan Quinn.
I think they've taken a little different approach defensively and tried to reduce some of the things that he wanted to remove, and then they're playing fast. They give you fits in a lot of ways. They're tough to run the ball against. I think they're playing with a lot of confidence right now as a team. And look, they're 3-1, could easily be 4-0.
Aha. You know a little bit about Raheem Morris and his defensive philosophy.
He's a guy that grew up in Tampa. Tampa was where he kind of got a start in the NFL, and he learned the Tampa 2 and that Tampa 2 defense. And that there was a lot of teams that tried to emulate what they were doing, but they just couldn't do it. The Bears did a good job of it, but you got to have that middle linebacker to be able to do it. You got to have the Urlacher. You got to have the Derek Brooks. And there's some of that that's creeping back into what Atlanta's doing. They got a pretty good one in Debo Jones. He's able to do some of those things. So they have changed their philosophy a little bit compared to what Dan Quinn was trying to do, and it's working for him. It's working for him right now because offense has not really been the problem. They can score points. Matt Ryan, love him or hate him, you should like him. He's a really good person. I know he plays for the Falcons, but that's neither here nor there. He can still make plays down the field. He still has Julio Jones. He still has weapons on that. Russell Gage. Russell Gage has been fantastic this year, so it hasn't been an offensive problem. And I think the changes they've made on defense are working for them. They simplified. They've changed what their main coverages are. And so far, so good for them because you're exactly right. They should absolutely be 4-0 since he took over.
You brought up Debo Jones. The matchup between he and Alvin Kamara is going to be one to watch on Sunday.
I think it's a fair question because it comes up particularly on third down in the man coverage schemes. There's a handful of linebackers that'll draw that matchup, and he's one of them. And listen, just watching the games last year, 5, 6, 7 different times, there's that one-on-one in man coverage route or specific play you're running, and I think that's a credit to both players. Obviously, he can move and is athletic, and so it is a matchup, especially on third down.
And that's where Alvin Kamara makes his money. That's where he has been invaluable for New Orleans this year, is on third down. Is it as simple as telling Jones, hey, you got Kamara, and we'll go on about our business?
It might be because there's just not a lot of linebackers that have the same athletic ability that he has. We know, we've seen the 40s. We've seen the cone drills at Debo. We saw him here at LSU, obviously. He's one of the few that can. If I'm trying to stop the Saints breaking in a new quarterback, I'm going to take down their easy throws first. I'm going to make Jameis beat me throwing it down the field. We know he's got the arm to do it, but does he have the decision-making to do it? So, yeah, if I'm the Falcons, my game plan is you own him. Don't let him go anywhere. Make him beat you over the top.
But can't Kamara create enough space even against a linebacker as good as Jones? Isn't that everybody's MO? Hey, listen, we'll take away the short stuff. It's easy to say, but Drew Brees wasn't trying to push the ball down the field very much at all. It was all of these short, easy throws. I'm sure that there were other defensive coordinators that said, let's take that away, and couldn't do it.
again, you got to have a special player though. You have to have
Okay.
You have to have a talent. I'm not saying he's going to win the matchups, but you at least have a talent that is comparable to try to do that. There's a reason that Debo got paid what he did. There's not a lot of guys in the NFL that have his skill set. And if I'm breaking in a new quarterback, because Drew's not playing. Like Drew knew exactly how to look off the linebackers, look off the safeties, and then go down to Alvin Kamara, right? Okay, well, let's see if Jameis knows how to do that. So I think it's more about this matchup with this linebacker on this running back than it's because it's hard to say, give me the 6'1", 240-pound Mike linebacker that runs a 4.7 to cover Alvin Kamara. Like, that's not Debo Jones. So this matchup, I think, is one where you have to try it if you're the Falcons.
And since you brought up Matt Ryan and Julio Jones, one on them before we quit.
They're playing at a high level. I mean, both of those two guys. Then you add in Ridley and Cage and the running back. I mean, offensively, they're operating as efficiently and as effectively as we've seen in quite a while.
If you're Sean Payton, you have seen Matt Ryan and Julio Jones for you've seen Jones for just about a decade, and you've seen Ryan for more than a decade. Probably no player in the NFL that has faced him more times that he's more familiar with than Matt Ryan. I mean, when Matt Ryan rolls over in his sleep, Sean Payton should know whether he rolls right or left. But still, even with that knowledge, you're still talking about players that are very hard to stop.
They are. They're some of the best. I mean, Matt Ryan's on the other side of his career, but he's still an extremely talented guy.
I've never developed an intense dislike for him that I should have for somebody that's played quarterback for the Falcons that long. I should hate him more.
You should. He's a really nice guy.
I know.
Like uber nice.
He's a good player. He's a nice guy. He didn't play for a team I hated in college. He played for Boston. He played for BC. I mean, who hates BC? They're the next door neighbor that keeps the grass cut. There's nothing to dislike about those guys.
And he's done it for a long time. And I wonder if he does finish that Super Bowl, what the narrative of his career would have been. Right now, you don't have a Super Bowl title. Yeah, you put up a lot of yards. You had a lot of success. You won a lot of games. But as we know, that position's graded at that one game.
You're not gonna like it when I say this, but I'm afraid it may keep him out of the Hall of Fame. I mean, Matt Ryan's overall numbers are going to be comparable enough to put him in the Hall of Fame if he had a Super Bowl ring, but not having a Super Bowl, I mean.
To be a quarterback and not have one of those and to go in the Hall of Fame, you've got to be in the top 5 conversation debate like we have with Marino.
There's others.
Fair or unfair.
Right. I think about Dan Fouts. I think about Jim Kelly. I think about Warren Moon. All of those guys that put up massive, massive numbers in their careers.
Is Marino kind of the one without a ring, though?
Best quarterback to never win a Super Bowl, probably. Yeah. I think you make that. Fran Tarkenton's another one for a long time. Fran Tarkenton was the leading passer in NFL history and made it to the Super Bowl 3 times but didn't win any of them. But all of those guys got in.
Yeah.
So you're going to be talking about guys that have these massive numbers, okay? It's going to be Matt Ryan. It's going to be Phillip Rivers. It's going to be Matthew Stafford. All of these guys are going to put up 50,000 yards or more, and none of them have a ring. If you did, you'd probably be a shoe. Eli Manning. If Eli Manning had lost the 2 Super Bowls, would he be getting in?
No.
No,
the numbers aren't there.
Okay, these 3 guys will all likely eclipse Manning's numbers when they finish, but none of them has a ring. And if you voted right now, Manning gets in, and the other 3 probably don't. So if you're asking me what right now, they may when the career is over. So if you ask me what's the difference between Matt Ryan if they finish out that Super Bowl, it's probably got him a gold jacket. It probably has insured him the gold jacket, which right now, I don't know. I think that vote would be pretty close. We'll take a break. Hanging with Hester and Hanny is brought to you by Richard's Honda, home of the warm and fuzzy feeling. 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Hanging with Hester and Hanny.
All right, we're brought to you by Richard's Honda, the title sponsor of our show here every single day. Go see them at 13413 Millerville Greens Boulevard in Baton Rouge. That's I-12 and Millaville. They have over 700 new and pre-owned vehicles priced to move right now on the lot. And no matter what you're looking for, no matter what your lifestyle calls for, they've got you covered. If you're looking for a car, they've got the Accord, the Civic, and the Fit. If you're looking for a hybrid, multiple hybrids, not just one to choose from, the Accord hybrid, the Clarity plug-in hybrid, the CRV, that midsize SUV hybrid, and the Insight as well. Speaking of midsize SUVs, they have the CRV, the HRV. They also have the Passport. Full-size SUV Pilot, the Odyssey minivan, and the Ridgeline truck. So as you can tell, they've got something for everybody over at Richards Honda. You can find them online again at richardshonda.com, where you can do it all. The website's set up for success. Go see it. The buy from home option I tell you about is on there as well. That's Richards Honda, home of the warm and fuzzy feeling.
Saints coverage, Chiefs, Cowboys, Thursday night, Sunday night, and Monday Night Football. From the opening kickoff to the playoffs and the Super Bowl, the NFL lives on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Do you know someone who sets a good example for all of us to follow? Someone who, without being asked, shows leadership, selflessness, and service to their community? We believe that's the definition of a good citizen, and so does Citizens Bank and Trust.
So, if you know someone that sounds like what Jordy was just describing, nominate them to be your good citizen, and they'll have a chance to win $500 from Citizens Bank and Trust. Plus, we'll mention him right here on the show. So go to citizensbankandtrust.com for more details and nominate your good citizen.
If I built a van, it would do more than haul.
It would carry my entire business. I'd make it available in dozens, make not thousands of configurations.
It would keep an eye on my fleet.
And an eye out for danger.
If I built a van, I'd make it available in diesel and gas. And I'd build it right here in South Carolina.
Introducing the all-new Sprinter, starting at $33,790. Built in the USA. Mercedes-Benz. Vans. Born to run.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is a local bank with a straightforward philosophy.
It's about doing the right thing for our customers.
Participating in our community with annual local fundraisers. Offering individual attention in a modern banking atmosphere with a trusted local company. Gulf Coast Bank invested in technology with a local touch, giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime.
We're building relationships through personal service as the bank that cares about you.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
This isn't just another day. It's so much more. Kelly's life was put on hold when her auctioneer primary care doctor discovered a rare blood disorder. Her doctor connected her to an auctioneer care team of cancer, heart, and kidney specialists. With multiple primary care locations around Baton Rouge, same-day appointments, and online scheduling, we're relentless about keeping you healthy. Auctioneer Baton Rouge, innovating healthcare for Kelly.
You may not know about the 4Kids Foundation, but you've probably heard of the Zurich Classic. And the Zurich Classic exists because of 4 kids. But it's what happens after the tournament that really counts. 100% of the proceeds are donated by the 4Kids Foundation to hundreds of local charities, totaling more than $40 million, all to help local children and families in need. 4Kids helps kids through golf, because every child deserves a shot at a brighter future.
At All-Star Toyota, you get it all. If you're in the market for an all-new Toyota vehicle, come see our friendly and knowledgeable sales team at All-Star Toyota. Located in Baton Rouge at the corner of Airline and Goodwood, we've been serving our community since 2005 by offering a large selection of new Toyota cars, trucks, and SUVs. Get behind the wheel of your dream car and take a test drive at All-Star Toyota today.
Tune in Friday night for a full night of prep football coverage. It all starts at 6 with Louisiana Prep Preview. Catholic High and Woodlawn kick off at 7. And we wrap things up with a full 2 hours of the Louisiana Prep Scoreboard at 10 on YouTube, CST, and 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Hangin with Hester and Hanny on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge and 1130 The Tiger.
And we're brought to you by Richards Honda, home of the warm and fuzzy feeling. LSU and Arkansas on Saturday at 11 a.m. Pregame coverage starts at 7 a.m. on Eagle 98.1. we've talked a lot about how good a year Sam Pittman has had, but we've also given a lot of credit to the coordinators. Kendall Briles and Barry Odom have done as good a job as any tandem maybe in the country. This was Sam Pittman talking about what Barry Odom has brought to his really to his whole culture.
Knowledge, consistency, his work ethic, the way the kids look at him when he talks, the positivity he brings into our program, into the coaching staff, into the players, and certainly his knowledge and character. But couldn't have hired a better fit for the University of Arkansas and myself than Barry Odom for our defensive coordinator.
How do you know when it's a fit? I mean, isn't that something, some version of that quote comes out at every press conference when you hire an offensive or defensive coordinator, or when you ask the head coach, why'd you hire this guy? Mm-hmm. He gives you some version of that. This carries a lot more weight because it's 3/4 of the way through the season. Now you make that quote. But doesn't everybody say, oh, he's such a fit? And we know that that's not true. He's been so yeah. good for his work ethic and his, the culture and all of these buzzwords. I mean, they all get said right after the hire, but we know that a great majority of them don't work. This worked.
I think he's a fit because he's always been around this area. He was born in Oklahoma. He played at Missouri, right?
So he couldn't have done this if he'd have been the defensive coordinator at Arizona?
No, he could have, but I just think it's worked so fast because he played Arkansas every year. He does a really nice job of evaluating talent that other people say is not good enough to play in the SEC. I mean, you look at who Missouri's put in the NFL, it's a pretty long list. I think it would surprise people. And he wasn't great at Missouri as a head coach, but he wasn't awful. He was 25-25. Better than Will Muschamp was at South Carolina. Yeah. He's a guy that I have a lot of respect for. I think he's hard-nosed. I think he does it old school. I think you're seeing that in his players. I think you're seeing it from Bumper Pool and Grant Morgan, the guys that I keep talking about, because I appreciate it. I appreciate the way that they go about their business. And
I think you like saying Bumper Pool, too.
It's a great name. It's an all-timer. I mean, this guy played middle linebacker at Mizzou. So I love everything about the way he's approached this job. And I think when he made the decision to bring in Barry Odom, it showed that Sam Pittman doesn't have an ego. Okay? Sam Pittman's only been a head coach at like the JUCO level. He's never been a major college football head coach. You go bring in a defense coordinator who was just last year a head coach in the conference. That tells me ego's not a thing here. I'm worried about winning football games. He's done it. I haven't. Now, I think I can do a hell of a job. But if I need to lean on somebody, who better lean on than a guy that's done it in the conference only a year ago? And it's worked out incredibly well. I think last week actually hurt him because Barry Odom couldn't be in the booth and he had to be on the sideline because he wasn't able to see everything. I think that's why you saw that number put up. And obviously Florida's got a hell of an offense. But, yeah, I kind of agree with them. When they made this hire, it checked all the boxes for me, and that was even before. Now, did I think it was going to happen in year one? I didn't, but it has.
On offense, you have said a number of times this week that you were more concerned about Treylon Smith than Rakeem Boyd. And Boyd came into the season as the established guy, the one that they expected more out of. But Treylon Smith has been the more explosive back. He had the 83-yarder. And Sam Pittman talked about Treylon Smith a little bit prior to the teleconference.
He had an outstanding game. We've got to get him the ball more. It's a good running back, tough, brings a lot to our program. And so we have to try to get him the football more, but I'm very proud of him. And, again, he brings a lot of juice to the program.
You know what I thought about when I heard that quote was I heard Ed Ogeron talking about John Emery because they had split carries. In fact, Emery had taken fewer carries in a number of the games. If I said, hey, wait, this is the guy, we got to get him the ball more. It's an 18-second bite. He said it twice. We got to get him the ball more. Boyd still got more attempts on the season than Smith does, and I think you look at it, Smith's averaging 2 yards more per carry. So much like we looked and said, hey, listen, there's nothing wrong with the other backs, but you need to get John Emery the ball more. I think they're saying the same thing about Treylon Smith.
One of the things that coaches fall into, and it's not just one coach, it's 95% of them, when there's a guy that has done it 2 years, he did it last year, whatever it might be, he's got a sample size, and he comes into the season and he's the guy, they are so tentative in taking him out if there's a guy who's playing better than him. There's a loyalty there. And I can appreciate the loyalty part of it, but you can't let it drag on too long. And Arkansas has kind of gotten into that point because you've had a change of guard at running back. And Rakeem Boyd came back for his senior season. A lot of people thought he was going to enter his name in the NFL draft and would have been selected. He was your best offensive player coming into this season. And so you start to wait. You're in game 3, game 4, game 5. It's going to come. It's going to click. Well, it hasn't clicked for him. And it's clicked for Traylon Smith and then some. And so you have to be aggressive and say, hey, you were our guy. We love you. You're a hog for life. But right now, Traylon Smith is averaging, like you said, Hanny, it's not a little bit. It's 2 yards more per carry. And we're talking about 78 and 80-something attempts. So it's pretty even, okay? For whatever reason, maybe it's not even to your fault. Maybe they're playing you a little bit different, but we've got to go with Traylon Smith. You have to respect that. And a great coach and a good coaching staff can make that change and take that hit, and a bad coaching staff will let that linger too long. And they're getting close to that right now.
Ask us when we come back. I got a treat for you for the last segment.
Okay.
Okay. Well, we'll do that when we
come back. I don't know what it is, but I like. By the way, I do need to mention, shout out to our guy Nookie. He sent us some more swag for our set. We've got a 10-can Graceland that he sent in, so thank you. He also said that it's not just a 10-can. It's also a place to keep Island Hanny safe since Moscona broke it.
Moscona was breaking Island Hanny like almost every day. Coming here and just,
he's taped together. He has no respect for Island Hanny. Island Hanny might say it's free, but he wasn't free.
That's why he got suspended. I mean, he just taking a few days off.
Yep.
Ask Us in the Bayou Ford chat is next. Hanging with Hester and Hanny, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Hangin' with Hester and Hanny. In times of need, get a full list of phone numbers, websites, and other important emergency information on the Demco Stormwatch page at 1045ESPN.com.
If I built a van, it would do more than haul.
It would carry my entire business. I'd make it available in dozens, make not thousands of configurations.
It would keep an eye on my fleet.
In and eye out for danger.
If I built a van, I'd make it available in diesel and gas. And I'd build it right here in South Carolina.
Introducing the all-new Sprinter, starting at $33,790. Built in the USA. Mercedes-Benz. Vans. Born to run.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is a local bank with a straightforward philosophy.
It's about doing the right thing for our customers.
Participating in our community with annual local fundraisers, offering individual attention in a modern banking atmosphere with a trusted local company. Gulf Coast Bank invested in technology with a local touch, giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime.
We're building relationships through personal service as the bank that cares about you.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals. But many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
At All-Star Toyota, you get it all. If you're in the market for an all-new Toyota vehicle, come see our friendly and knowledgeable sales team at All-Star Toyota. Located in Baton Rouge at the corner of Airline and Goodwood, we've been serving our community since 2005 by offering a large selection of new Toyota cars, trucks, and SUVs. Get behind the wheel of your dream car and take a test drive at All-Star Toyota today.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
This is a house call.
This is a follow-up appointment. This is a diabetes checkup. This isn't just more convenient care, it's more advanced care. This is innovating healthcare at Louisiana's #1 hospital, Ochsner.
ServiceMaster Elite create clean, disinfected work environments. As a local business, we take pride in serving the New Orleans and Baton Rouge areas. Our cleaning protocols follow CDC and OSHA standards for healthcare settings, offices, senior living, restaurants, and industrial plants. Contact ServiceMaster Elite to get your operation ready for reopening with germ disinfection cleaning. ServiceMaster Elite, the trusted choice in professional cleaning since 1996.
To all of our heroes working on the front lines of this COVID-19 pandemic, your bravery and selflessness represent the very best of us, and we want to say thank you. I'm asking everyone around the state to join me in celebrating the heroism of our healthcare professionals on the 19th of every month at 1900 hours, that's 7 p.m. Write a note of appreciation, make plans to donate to charitable organizations, or say a prayer. To learn more, visit 19thanks.org. Thank you, and God bless.
Hey, it's Matt Moscona inviting you to join us for a Thursday edition of AFR presented by the Aesthetic Medicine and Anti-Aging Clinics of Louisiana. Full hour of football talk with Mike Detillier. Ryan Clark joins us, our Fantasy Blitz. You join us as well, 3 to 6, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Hangin with Hester and Hanny on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge and 1130 The Tiger.
And we are back. Time for Ask Us. I told Hester to have a little treat for him. Hey, how about a nice cold Coors Light? And the Rockies are blue, man. The Rockies are definitely blue. Yeah,
By the way,
Kathy Lee and Hoda can do it. I mean, come on.
Don't take all the credit. I put them to make the Rockies cold.
Don't lie to people. They weren't in. This wasn't in the refrigerator. This was just in the studio right here. So we're gonna.
I can promise you, they're going to stay blue. I mean, they're cold lagered, cold filtered, cold packaged already. But in the studio, look at the ice on that thing.
Look at the new Slim cans, man. Look at the new Slim cans, new packaging, made to chill with Coors Light, the official beer of Hanging with Hester and Hanny.
Cheers to that.
Mm-hmm. Also, our friends over at Blue Moon with the Light Skies Citrus Sweet. Enjoy them tonight. You got Tulane. You watch Tulane in Tulsa
tonight? I might have some interest in that game.
Hey, look, and then you got Arizona and Seattle. That was an entertaining game the last time. All right, so get you a Coors Light, get you a Vizzy Hard Seltzer, get you a Blue Moon Light Sky, and enjoy tonight's games. All right, let's go to Ask Us. Ask Us, National Smokeout Day. What's the best smoked barbecue you ever had?
There was a spot, I'm trying to think of the name of it, in Kansas City. Anytime we went and played the Chiefs, they had this spot. Now, it's not the ones that everybody tells you about. It was an off-the-beaten-path place. I'm trying to think of the name. Hopefully it'll come to me before the end of it. But it was so good. The restaurant would only fit like 4 people. That's how big the restaurant was, but you didn't care. You were going to wait.
Yeah. I went last year to the Texas Rodeo. I've done this a couple of times now. This was just a couple of weeks before the shutdown. We went to watch LSU at Minute Maid, and then we went to at night we went to the Texas Rodeo, and they had their barbecue cook-off. This is the absolute best of the best, and when I'm talking about thousands of dollar rigs, okay, I mean these huge, massive rigs, and some of the best barbecue cooks you've ever seen in your life. We sampled, gosh, I don't know, as many as we could, and that was the best barbecue I had ever seen. Ask Us, have you ever plugged alcohol? The folks at Jameson came by about one day, many years ago, not that many years ago, and said, here, try this, and sat down with us and said, oh, you like the brand? You like it? Yes, absolutely. It was fantastic. I said, okay, good. We're going to send you to Ireland. It was a good day. It was a really good day. In fact, we're going to sing you to Dublin, Ireland for St. Patrick's Day. And we said, okay. And that was fabulous.
I've heard about that trip.
Yeah, that was really, really good. Let's see. Ask Us, char grilled or raw oysters?
Raw.
Yeah, I'm gonna go raw more. I'll eat either one, but I'll go
same.
raw more often than that. Ask us. I like this one because I had to think about it. What fictional restaurant would you want to visit? So the first thing that came to my mind was Monks and Seinfeld. Okay, because it's just but I don't really want a big salad. So I thought about it a little bit more, and it's got to be Vesuvio from The Sopranos, man. I mean,
all right, since you took mine.
Oh, was that
going to be
yours?
mine?
All
I'll
right.
go the Max in Saved by the Bell. Looks like a lot of fun there.
Little diner.
People always smiling. I love diner food. Might be my favorite type of food. That's my style of music, so I already like the vibe of it. But give me like a cheeseburger, fries, chili cheese dog. I mean, that shakes. Sign me up.
Yeah. Ask us any free agency predictions. I assume he's talking about the NBA. I think
sign someone who's taller than 6'8".
just to make Hester happy. I think they're going to sign a big person.
But Jay Crowder is a free agent, and I know he might not fit a need for the Pelicans, but I think they need someone like that. Toughness. He's going to hustle to the ball. If the other player on the other team starts to get a little chirpy or starts feeling himself a little bit, he'll shut that stuff down.
Ask us, what is your lock of the week? Well, you gotta tune in tomorrow. I mean, we do our picks tomorrow. Hester actually beat me last week.
I did.
Yeah,
I've been you straight up last couple times we've gone head up.
I don't think that is accurate,
Yes,
but we'll look at the standings tomorrow when we get to that. Ask us, is Coach O the head coach for LSU 2 years from now? Well, I would think so, but you know what? Look, it's 2020, man. But yes, I would think so. Ask Hester, is there ever a play call that didn't work that you thought you should have gotten the ball?
Yes, we broke it down about 3 months ago.
Was
around
that
the horn.
Was that the one that Jamarcus was missed you?
We ran it, Evangel versus West Monroe in the Superdome. Jimbo Fisher saw it, said, what was that play? We showed him and drew it up. Guy. And Jamarcus just didn't throw it to me. Didn't throw it. We showed it. We showed the tape.
You did. It was
open. I think Craig Schilling, our guy, found it.
You were open. No doubt.
It was a pitch to me. I pitched it to Early Doucette. Early Doucette threw it to Jamarcus, and Jamarcus was supposed to throw it to me.
Can't believe Les.
I'm not bitter.
I can't believe Les actually let him call that.
There wasn't a let with Jimbo. Jimbo's going to do it.
That's true. That was before. It was pre-2008. He hadn't gotten shocked yet. Ask Hester, what was the Chargers fan base like in San Diego, because they had basically no following in Los Angeles?
So the San Diego fans, there weren't a lot of them, but they were passionate. They really were. There was a group of passionate fans. The problem with San Diego is it's a vacation town, it's a military town, it's a retirement town. So everyone is from somewhere else. So they come into San Diego with their own team already in place, right? A lot of the military guys, they come to the games, but they grew up Packer fans or Bronco fans or Dolphin fans. But the ones that grew up Charger fans, I will tell you, they were right there in the south end zone, passionate as you'll find.
And ask Hester, what was LaDainian Tomlinson like?
Good. He was quiet guy. Wasn't a big voice, but he was a guy that took care of me, mentored me. A couple of years I was with him, took care of me in the rookie dinner. You're supposed to, the top two picks have to pay for the rookie dinner, but since I was a third rounder, he said it was a bylaw, no second rounder, only the first rounder has to pay for the rookie dinner.
Wow.
So he saved me a lot of money. But no, he was good, very down to earth, very approachable. Him and Darren Sproles both were big mentors to me.
Ask us, Cracklins, yes or no?
Yes.
Yes. Not too much though. It's one of those things I can't overdo. But yes, absolutely.
Like even like from fast food restaurants, go to like Long John Silver's or Captain D's. Give me some Cracklins.
Cracklin is kind
My
of
wife
like,
turned me onto those.
It's kind of like boudin. You get it. You get a little country store somewhere. They probably do them the best. Ask Hanny, were you at War Memorial for Decoy Birmingham in the back of the end zone? The Miracle on Markham. I was not there. I remember exactly where I was. I was in my.
Was that?
02. I was
in Destrehan.
I was in my living room on the phone with a station official at the time, and we were literally talking about broadcast plans and reservations for Atlanta, because if they win, they're going to Atlanta, and I'm literally on the phone And I said to myself, boy, this is just bad karma. You're doing this with 2 minutes to go in the game. You're talking about hurry up. It was literally hurry up and get on the phone and make the reservations before the LSU fans overrun it. Get us a flight before all of the flights are gone. And we need to do all of this because they're going to Atlanta.
Right.
And then they weren't going to Atlanta.
Yeah.
So I blamed him. He blamed me. But I guess we were both to blame.
I was in Destrehan about to play them in the playoffs, and I had forgotten my cleats in Shreveport. So my good buddy who wasn't going to play that night, gave me his cleats that were a size too small, but it worked out. I ran for like 200 plus, and we won.
Should have kept those. Never mess with a winning streak, right?
That's true. We only won state that year, so.
Thanks to everybody for participating today. For Caden, Danny, and Jacob, I'm Charles saying thank you and good afternoon. Stay tuned for AFR 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Hangin' with Hester and
T-Bob Hebert here with breaking news. Front-to-back boat service